It's not working?
They're both working.
Oh. Okay, and we have 8 items tonight. United Methodist Church, Christophe Hertel, Matthew Laufer, Brent Favreau. Oh, he's the one that's not coming, correct?
That's right.
Sorry. Jared LaValle. Brown and Davis. Joan Jansen. Hi. And Scott O'Brien, who's here for Scott. Is Aaron coming?
Aaron said he was coming, yes.
Okay. Does he know he's last on the agenda?
He did know that, yeah.
Okay, so we'll assume he's here. All right, we're going to take these in the order given. Some of these have been postponed from previous meetings for various reasons. We'll start with United Methodist Church, Class B variance. Come on up. And we do have, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but we had just told people in the pre-meeting that they can't speak to us, and we didn't think it'd be fair to let you speak to us during that pre-meeting.
That's okay, my wife doesn't let me speak.
Yeah. She told me not to let you get going. I
understand, Phil.
Anyway, so you've been to us before,
Yes.
and now this shows the sign, but in general, there are a few things here that we want to make sure about. This sign is now smaller.
Yes.
It is 5 feet by 8 feet, 40 square feet of illumination. We'll call that, are we calling that the sign area, 40 square feet each side, Jim?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so 80 square feet total. The last time you came, it was 106 or something, if I remember, right?
Compares, the last time we came,
It was,
go back a few iterations.
I'm sorry?
I have to go back a few.
Yeah, that's okay, but it was bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It was bigger than what you even have now. And what you have now,
Is bigger than what we're proposing tonight.
right, but what you had was 63 square feet per side.
Yes, that's our current sign.
Although I guess it's just that the picture that you drew the numbers on isn't to scale to the numbers or something, right?
Right, that's the, yeah.
But that's actually, that piece of wood, that whole white thing is 113 inches long each side. I understand there's 2 of them. But it is 80 inches tall and by 113.
Correct.
So, because the existing, I think we still have, I probably still have your existing, your previous. Your previous one replaced 5 foot by 8 foot exterior lit sign with 5 foot by 8 foot interior. So but that wasn't actually correct. It wasn't a 5 foot by, or is this the?
The original proposal was,
Yeah, the original.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was 102, but it actually is a little different than by 76.
yes,
But your existing,
is 113 by 8.
okay. But the application said, I just want to be clear about this, I'm not, the application's wrong because it says 5 foot by 8 foot with
Yeah.
5 foot by 8 foot interior lit sign.
Yep.
But I don't think that's the right numbers.
Well, that's the inset part, not the whole.
Right.
with
The old application, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. But anyway, more important than that, the size of the existing sign is 60,
Inches.
no, I don't think it is 60.
Oh, the existing is 113.
How big is the actual existing sign?
We measured it. Kay and I measured it.
Joe, that's in the file,
Yeah,
the
80
existing
inches by
sign
113.
info.
That's, you measured that, right?
Yeah.
So 63 square feet twice
Uh-huh.
is 126 square feet, that's what you have now?
Right.
And you want to go to 40 square feet, which is 80. Right, 5 foot by
Correct.
8 foot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Not exactly. Does the 80 inches include the M on top?
What now?
Say that again?
The wooden M. I'm
Well, no,
assuming that's what
because
that
it's
is.
not, it's support truss, it's the support,
All
it's
right.
what holds the wooden sign up.
But is that
The
5
the
foot?
stuff above the sign?
Holds the sign up. That's structure for the sign, that's how the sign,
No, I know, but is that counted in the 63 square feet?
I
Yes.
think it's part of the design.
Yeah, so it's
Yes.
actually smaller than that, so,
Definitely. But
right? In other words, it's probably 4 feet by 8 feet.
does the 80 include the structure
Is that
above?
right, or is it,
The width
the,
is the same.
the support,
Yes.
the 80 includes that support that sticks up, because it's part of, it's how the
right, that's
sign
not
is-
really part of the sign.
No? Oh, okay. It's 5 foot by
Well,
8
that's-
foot then inside, you know?
Okay.
We're going back
Okay.
to with the sign the same size.
Right, I just want to make, right,
Yeah,
right, as opposed to the last application was for a bigger
Agreed.
a
sign.
bigger one, yes.
Agreed.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
not.
Okay, so
This is not
let's
a
forget,
smaller
I want to
sign.
make sure that we understand, we want to be, the existing sign is 5 foot by 8 foot,
Correct.
and the new sign
Is
would be
the same,
5 foot by 8 foot.
right. No
As
bigger.
opposed to last time, you were applying for a sign
A little
that
bit.
was
A little
larger
bigger,
than that.
Yes.
Okay. You're saying that and this is another question we have, you're saying that this sign, that the existing sign, and we don't, are there a lot of lights on that sign? Because
Yeah, two big flood lights,
how many lights are on that sign?
one on each side, big floodlights. They come up to 9,500 lumens.
Yeah, where did you get did you get that from, how did you get that figure?
I got that off from an electrical supply. In other words, you go in and you can determine what a 100-watt sodium lamp actually the lumens
Okay.
are.
Yeah. So we
Okay.
gave him what the light was, he checked it
Right,
out.
so what are they? They are what?
It's 100-watt sodium lamps, one per side, so you've got basically 19,000 lumen to light that sign, you know, the front of it, the side of it.
No,
under it,
9,500 lumens.
Each
right.
side.
Yeah, so 9,500 per side.
One light fixture is 9,500
Yeah,
lumens?
100-watt sodium lamp.
Old sodium lamp, no direction, no nothing, it's all over.
Sodium lamps, does that make sense to you, Scott?
Sir, I need your name.
They're brighter.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, you
The
got,
sodium
you
is-
looked
it's a
up,
high
I just want to be
intensity.
clear.
Yes,
You looked up, are you looking it up, Scott?
Of course I am.
You looked, I know, you looked up 100-watt sodium lights, and they said they're
That's
9,500
what it came out
lumens.
to be.
Now, what's the 1,024 lumens? Is that per side?
No, because that's internally illuminated with LED, so that's, you know, that's both sides, so it's only 1,024 total.
Where's it, there's not a thing down the center and each side has lights?
No, it's LED that goes around the perimeter of the sign, and it's encased within the sign. In fact, if you stood in front of the sign, you wouldn't even get a shadow.
So if I'm standing on the street, this is gonna look far less bright?
Well, it does look far less bright. I think here's the thing, it's sort of like comparing apples to peaches in some regards. You gotta remember the sodium lamp, what it does is it throws light from back about 5 foot back, and it throws it all the way in front of it, throws it to the right of it, throws it to the left of it, throws it under it, and throws it over it. Okay, so you have all that light source with LED lighting encased within the cabinet. It just lights within the cabinet. In fact, if you stand right in front of the cabinet, you can't get actually a shadow on the ground. So in terms of actually, you know, your light, I mean, it's a lot less. I mean, huge difference. Now, if you stood, on the ground, you look up at the sign, the sign right now lights okay because you have these big lights on it. And our sign will light also okay, but it's all inside encased within the cabinet. So is it less bright? I think it's probably equally bright, but different. It's a different way of looking at it. It's a whole lot less light, actually.
Okay. Okay. Did you find anything?
Yeah, it all checks out.
Huh?
Yeah, that checks out.
Okay. Okay. We're still using,
Can I
you have,
butt in for just 1 second? Because we did talk about the size of the sign. But one other piece that wasn't discussed is the existing sign is in a V configuration. And so you have a 30-inch gap in the front, you have a 4-foot gap in the back, and so you have this space which is all taken up by the sign. Our sign is 12 inches deep, it's just double-sided. So from a green space point of view, actually the sign actually takes up a whole lot less. green
yeah, it takes
space.
up less space and it's probably less stuff shining in a sense.
Yeah,
Okay. We've got the application, we stopped acting on it at a certain point, we didn't do anything about seekers or anything last time. So, I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna open this to the public for comments and ask anybody that has comments, yes, sir. Just say your name to Denise first.
Alan Tatro. I live right across the street, and Dr. Cohen already took in
Right.
a dispute over this, and I have several things that concern me. First, I want to say the church is a great neighbor. I've worshiped there many, many times, belonged to the choir, sung in the church. I've been an active part of that church, and I have no vendetta. But I do against this sign. Dave and I are trying to preserve the character of the neighborhood. Currently on Beekman Street, there are no big lit signs. There are no advertising signs saying church dinner on Sunday, this on Monday, this on Tuesday, this on Wednesday. There's just none of that in our neighborhood. And I'd like to preserve that. We are a residential neighborhood primarily, and that's what's important to us. This variance is not a hardship case. There are numerous methods of communicating a church's activities through traditional media, social media, and newspapers. This is not a hardship case. There is no demonstrated need for a larger or internally lit sign that will distract the residents and drivers in our area. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. The Methodist Church and Miron's Tavern right across the street already pose difficulties with traffic and parking. Beekman Street is a busy street. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic on the street. Beekman Street is the avenue for marathons, awareness walks. More importantly, we're less than 1 block from Bailey Avenue School and 2 blocks from Oak Street School. When you come from the north down Beekman Street, the sidewalk ends just at the church. Coming from the south, the sidewalk ends around the hospital. If you were there in the morning and in the afternoon, you would see dozens, if not hundreds, of children crossing the street between the church and Miron's. To put a sign up that will distract drivers so that they can see what's going on at church this week is asking for a problem. It's a terrible, terrible spot for children to be crossing. Why they ever remove that sidewalk and don't have a traffic light for the children to cross there is beyond me. The Methodist Church also currently has 2 signs. They have one that's 25.5 square feet that's right near their building, and then they have the new one. And we did not get any of the new information about their new size of sign, so I can't even refute any of that information. I have nothing to go on now. We went through all of Plattsburgh. I think we gave you this information. There isn't a single church in Plattsburgh that has a sign as large as they're requesting. The largest sign is the Church of the Nazarene, which borders a commercial district. If you look at the photos we provided, there's one of the Nazarene Church lit up, and I have a copy of that here if you'd like to see that. And I would like the board to consider what it would be like to have that shining in your bedroom windows at night. Now, the Nazarene sign is a dark background with white lighting. They're proposing a white background with dark lighting. So the amount of white space is probably double or triple what the Nazarene has. I just implore upon you, if you lived across the street, would you want this shining in your bedroom windows at night? It doesn't look like a friendly neighborhood sign. It looks like a very commercial sign. I guess the last thing is that the zoning laws very implicitly state that there shall be no signs in a residential district except one that has been approved for non-conforming use, and that sign does not exceed 24 square feet. So my take on this is a bylaw of the zoning law. This is a zoning law.
Right.
You can grant the variance, but you would have to change the bylaws in order to grant it.
Actually,
That's not true.
that's not true. And I explained to Dr. Cohen, I'll say it this way, we're in the variance business.
Correct.
What that means is somebody comes to us and says, I want to vary from the zoning law. Please give me a variance. So we are not bound to only grant 24 square feet. They only have to come to us if they want more than 24 square feet. So you make many good points. But to say that's why people are here is because what it is, and I'll explain the basic tenet, the basic principle of zoning and zoning variances is that a community in general decides on a set of standards that they believe should be applied to each district based on its type of use, whether it's single-family residential, commercial, or whatever. And they say, this is how close stuff should be, this is the types of use, this is the size things should be, all those things. You either have a use variance or you have an area and bulk control variance. This is an area and bulk control variance. Because they are asking to vary from that standard. That, we get that all the time. You'll hear them tonight. We have people that want to build closer. We're not allowed, the ordinance says you have to be 10 feet from one property and 15 from the other. People are saying, can I be 3 feet away? So you make many good points, but that one particular one, we're not here actually to enforce that. That's good. Well, no, but many people don't understand it.
But I do have concerns about LED lighting.
You make many good points.
To say it's almost as bright or maybe not as bright, it's very hard to put LED against sodium lighting. And the configuration of the sign now is at a V. So those lights are actually pointing like out toward the trees on one side and toward the church on another. They're not pointing, straight toward north and south. But I guess those are my.
Well, I guess here's your
concerned
question.
about the neighborhood, the character of the neighborhood, that this is a residential neighborhood.
Right.
And I'm concerned about people gazing their eyes and reading what's on the list of events and not watching what's happening at that dangerous intersection. Especially when you have 2 elementary schools within 2 blocks.
Great, thank you. Any other comments on this? Yes, sir.
I just want to clarify a point that you made, Jared Valley. So the new sign will face north-south?
Yes.
Okay. So to that argument, I would just think that you would probably get a little bit less reflection. And it might be actually more difficult to read.
Depends how bright it is.
But if you're thinking of a sign like this, it's significantly easier for a passing motorist to read than if the sign doesn't have that angle. So
Yeah.
they might be less inclined there. Just calculate that with that.
Yeah.
And to correct the point, the sidewalk doesn't actually stop at enough. It stops well north, relatively at 141 feet, and I think is where the sidewalk actually stops.
Okay. Any other comments regarding this? So for now, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this. So we can talk about, I'm gonna have the board ask questions, make comments.
Is the entire sign illuminated or is only part of it? Because I'm just a little confused by the latest diagram.
Where you see it blue is illuminated.
Yep.
Where you see the 4 lines available for type is illuminated.
Oh.
That's it.
So that's the 40 square feet is all.
Would anybody on the board like to see something similar, a real sign, picture?
Yeah. This-
I would.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty much.
It's not exactly the
standard.
same, but it's
Yeah.
very similar.
I'd like you to also show it to Alan when you get a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah, it's pretty much what we consider.
Is that during the day or at night?
That's a day.
Yeah.
You have any at night?
No. No, but,
So this would be during the day anyway.
yeah, you may have to
Oh,
play
yeah.
with it every couple of seconds to keep it going.
We'll have to keep this.
No. You have to understand, the real reason I'm here today is only to support Bonnie and to prove that actually somebody can drive from Pittsburgh to Plattsburgh in one day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And back?
No. As far as I can get, but I'm not gonna do it now.
Could you?
You don't have
Also,
this
I'd like
lit
to
at
take
night,
back
though,
so
do you?
to Alan.
Excuse me? I'm sorry.
You don't have a picture of it lit at night?
That's what I asked him.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, I think
Still
daytime's
going?
not the issue.
What's that?
I think daytime, well, although it is an issue.
Say, I couldn't hear what you said.
I was wondering if daytime was an issue, but the issue was reading the sign and.
Yeah, but you know, I have that issue with a whole bunch of signs in Plattsburgh of people being distracted and reading them, and it is a problem. And,
Well, I mean, my thought on that point is it's a permitted use. What they're doing there is a permitted use, so to advertise what they're doing there is part and parcel of what they're doing there, and to restrict that kind of flies in the face of the fact that it's permitted. You know, to be allowed to conduct a certain operation in a location, but not be able to have any, to be advertising what they deem to be reasonable. I mean, it's up to us to determine whether we agree with that, but what they deem to be a reasonable effort to advertise what they're doing there. I mean, I think that argument could be made about any sign anywhere, that it's distracting. It's only distracting to the extent that you choose to be distracted by it. I mean, certainly more than enough. This is a perpendicular to the road, right?
Alan, and I know Alan fairly well, by the way. I'll tell you that I'm not, so, I understand all of your points, and I think that probably the illumination from the place next door is a little more extreme. Not on your side as much, I don't think, right? Most of the neon's on the other side, right?
Right.
I'm not so sure, but that, and I think you were saying this, that V-shaped sign where the light's shining is sort of more towards you than it might be if the faces are truly north and south. I think that if you look at the existing sign, to me it seems that this illuminated area might be less distracting because it's even as opposed to those lights. I fully understand and agree with your concept of keeping your neighborhood the way it is. One of the problems, here's where we're at, and I'll explain it again as to zoning and existing non-conforming uses. If they didn't, this is an existing non-conforming use because they put this sign up before it was against the rules. Okay. Some people would say, and the ordinance says when you do more than a certain amount of change to a sign, that you must bring it into conformity or get a new variance if it's a non-conforming sign. That's what the variances talk about. So as an example, if a business has a big non-conforming sign and a new business moves in and says, yeah, we're going to put up King's Restaurant, they don't automatically get that big sign, the new business. And that's generally often why signs are changed because the business changes. When an existing business has an existing sign, a car dealer, and the brand people come through and say, we want, Mr. McBride, you've got to change, and I'm using a real example now, your non-conforming sign by getting new plastic faces, they're brand new, and you better fix the lights. While you're at it, put these new kind in. That is really not considered, even though they're changing much of the sign, as long as he doesn't make it bigger, it's sort of considered to be taking the same nonconformance and not making it worse. So they came 2 months ago, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, 2 months ago with a sign that was bigger than their existing sign. We had some eloquent speakers. And was still mistaken about this variance thing, but anyway. And they, so then shrank it down. This sign is basically the same size as that one. And hopefully should be less offensive, if not, theoretically, the worst cases would be just as offensive, and I'll use it that way. And the best case would be that it'd be much less offensive because A, it's not taking up this big triangle, so there's not lights bouncing off it all over. It's certainly a more attractive sign, and you're right about the Church of Nazarene, which also got a variance, and there was a lot of discussion about that when we gave that sign, and the litness and how bright it is. Let me ask you a question. Is there less brightness that you can do to this LED sign? Can you put less lumens in? Does it not work? I mean, I'm not being...
Well, it's a string of LED lights that's designed for a certain square footage.
And that's really pretty much what it needs? I mean,
Yes,
I'm not being...
Otherwise, what you'll do is you'll get hot spots or something like that. It's designed and engineered specifically for that. I mean, the only thing you could do, in theory, but it's not really a good idea, you could change the color of the face to like an off-white instead of a white. But what that really does, if you really look at it, you think about the aesthetics of it, instead of looking clean, it looks like it's yellow.
It's dirty.
It looks like it's dirty. And so...
And how much difference the lumens was? Nothing. Okay.
Probably nothing, really, in essence. The lumens be the same, it
Right.
just might be how it actually shines. But to be honest with you,
Yeah.
it's just, the way this is just, it's just less work.
Okay. Other questions? No? Any more, I'm going to open, just any more comments, Alan? You wanna, even though I closed the public hearing portion?
No, I mean, the only comment I have is that, you know, when the original sign was put up, signage was different. Signs have changed. I mean,
Right.
I don't know what the city's law is now with like digital signs, that this is not a digital sign.
Right.
But just
Thank
what
God.
I'm saying is the character of signs has changed through the years.
Mhm.
And the sign that's there now sort of belongs in a neighborhood. You sort of feel that it's part of a residential neighborhood. When you get a really bright white sign with a whole menu of what's going on every day, it changes the character.
Yeah.
It's no longer a neighborhood. You are now becoming commercialized.
Yeah. I'm not sure I disagree with you. I'll tell you, one of the problems we have is that we have a lot of precedents where we have had people come that have had signs and kept them the same or smaller, whatever, where variances have been granted to redo their signs the same size, and we have that precedent has been set several times. Somebody can come to us and say, hey, but you gave this one and this one and this one and this one. So, but you brought up very good points, and anybody have any other comments? If not, I'm going to do the secret, I guess. Right? We have a seeker. We had looked at the application where they said about undesirable change, and they said no. Can a benefit be achieved by some other method? No. Is it substantial? They say no, but it probably is fairly substantial, and will have an adverse effect on the neighborhood. Alan would say yes, they would say no. And has it been self-created? They say no. But anyway, the short form seeker says same size and lighted. I thought it was bigger last time, though, wasn't it?
Well, we noted that, and we never went through the seeker because.
Right, right,
we said,
okay. So now it is, this is
Now,
actually right.
this is essentially accurate.
And, no. And the second one is a yes. Building permit. And variance. CBA variance, right? Is it less than 1 acre? I'm sorry, it's greater than 1 acre.
Yeah,
How big is their property?
it goes past what you even see.
Yeah.
We haven't actually, keep going, there.
Resident, and, okay, urban, residential, commercial. It's not permitted, consistent with the comprehensive plan. I guess it's no for that also, right? It's not consistent.
Right.
5B?
That's number 5B. Yes, I guess it's pretty consistent with the character of the natural landscape, because there isn't really any natural landscape there anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all streets, it's not woods and. Well, it's not increased traffic, public transportation is available at or near the site, isn't it? And cart goes by or something, doesn't it? Does cart go by you?
It doesn't
think so.
stop, because that's part of the
Okay.
food shelter.
Then I'll leave it at no. And there's no bike rack things nearby? Does it meet state energy code requirements? I'm assuming it does, it's LED lighting. That changes number 9 to a yes. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public-private water supply? No. Wastewater facility? No. You're not on historic places?
Nope.
Or an archaeologically sensitive area? Does any portion of the site of the proposed action adjoining the property contain wetlands? No. No animal habitats, 100-year floodplain? No. No stormwater. And no, the rest of. The only thing you did wrong is you filled out part 2, and we're supposed to do that.
I just saw boxes.
So I'm sorry. Actually, and you even filled out the chair part, my part.
Well, but I thought I was the
It's okay.
chair of the trustees. and I
Yeah, you're
decided-
just like, you think you're the chair, we know.
Okay.
All right, board fill. If nobody has any other issues with the short form seeker, I'd like to have a motion regarding questions 1 through 11 and a recommendation as to which box I should check and sign.
I'll move that, as chair, you check, no or small impact may occur on questions 1 through 11 of part 2 of the seeker, and check the second box indicating there would be no significant adverse environmental impact from the proposed action. And sign.
Seconded by,
I'll second.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that is the seeker.
I do have one question, one last question. In looking at this packet from the last meeting, I didn't see this until just now, and I'm just out of curiosity, did you explore the option of a regular wooden sign, just one, front and back, like you're going with, that was not illuminated from inside, that used smaller lumens, but kind of kept it, what's the term? Neighborhood feel, like we're talking about with the sign there. I'm just wondering why you're going from this to the illuminated sign.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
okay, well,
We had lots of discussions.
Good salesman.
well, not really, but they're close enough. Well, a couple things. Number one, a wood sign, the way they're manufactured doesn't really allow for a place where you can put changeable letters, just because of the way the construction of the signs themselves. You have to have really an
Right.
extrusion, and as soon as it's an extrusion, now it's an aluminum cabinet, okay? With wood, you really can't really be building, locking doors that are gonna last for the length of this sign, another 25 or 30 years. The other thing is talking about the lights. You keep in mind, that anytime that we start putting a spotlight of almost any size that's gonna light the sign at all, your lumens are going to be considered, taking a look at this particular circumstance, the two sides, we have 19,000 lumens that they're using right now. With the LED, which is all encased within the cabinet, we only have 1,024. It's considerably less, and it's really a classic design. The sign they have now would, yes, you can do things with wood, but it's not designed really to have a place where they can communicate with not only with their neighbors and with the nearby and the parishioners. It's really not designed to do that. So this is really the right way and the most efficient way, and it's really last a long time for these folks.
Just for your information, all the, like the photos that you and David took, every one of those examples is on a location that has a sidewalk. And the sign is readable by people walking by and driving by because it's right there at the road. If you were to look at the overhead picture there, you'll see how far back, because it's a curved, as the land was when we purchased it, Luke's farm, it curves up to that level. So in order to be stable, flat, it's already set back a substantial way from the road itself.
Can you move that up, Joe? Just move that whole thing up just a little bit. There is the church, there is Maron, there is 126 Beekman, correct? Okay.
Yes.
I have two questions. Can the sign be moved back a little bit further? And how late at night is the sign going to remain lit?
Till 11 p.m.
How about
And
10?
Can it be moved back? We would have to take trees out.
Huh?
We would have to take trees in order to see.
No, I'm talking about straight back from where it is, like
Yeah, and there are other
Trees right behind
trees.
it.
Trees that block the view.
that
the
block
trees
view.
that block the view.
Yeah, so we would have to get into tree.
Can you go back to the overhead again? I mean, I'm just trying to,
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead,
doing-
see?
I'm trying to,
Mhm.
you're talking about the trees that, which trees? The two at the
That are
front?
at the road.
Corners.
Those two?
Yeah, that's at the road, so if we go back even farther, you're taking a line of sight away. You have to be looking for the sign, turning your head 90 degrees to see it, rather than an angular glance as you drive by. It's already set back.
Can we, I guess I'm gonna ask a question, does it really need to be lit till 11 o'clock? And I'm not, I'm
Maybe
listening
not.
to Al, and I'm telling you
Yeah,
that
maybe
the
not.
the real issue here, if this sign is not lit at certain points in the evening,
Right.
it doesn't inflict as much on the neighborhood.
It's not just the lighting, Ron, it's the type of sign.
It's the type, I know it is,
It's
yeah.
the type of sign that it is. It is so commercial looking, I might as well be next to Walmart.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's that sort of look of a sign.
yeah.
And, I mean, for property values throughout that neighborhood, this impacts us. This really
Yeah.
impacts us. And, I don't know how, I love Grace next door. She's a great friend. I don't know how they ever got neon.
Yeah, I don't either.
It
have no
just
idea.
floors me that was ever allowed. But I don't want this to continue and get more and more
Mm-hmm.
really commercial-looking signs in that neighborhood. Whether it's off of 10 or 11 doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, go ahead.
There isn't any other location in that area that already has an existing sign that would ask for a variance, I don't think.
Right.
I don't, Muron's is there, they're not going away, and the church has been there since 1958. And that's a
I think-
1958 sign.
I think if you look at the hospital's new sign right on Beacon Street, that's a brand-new sign that they put up when they became the University of Vermont Healthcare Network. And it's a much smaller sign than CVPH had before. It's very subdued, it has minimal lighting. I mean, it's a beautiful sign, it fits the neighborhood perfectly. The
It's
hospital
internally
really
lit.
took- Pardon me?
It's internally lit. The sign is internally lit,
It's not bright.
but it's internally
And
lit.
right, and it's not large. It's smaller than this one's gonna be.
They're the only choice for a hospital.
You know,
And they have signage all around their property. I mean, they have multiple, every entrance has some kind of signage for the hospital. And I think we think we made this point last time. If you're, gotta go to the hospital, you go to the hospital. Everybody knows
Well,
where it
you're
is.
gonna
You're
be
not-
looking for it.
You're definitely gonna be looking for it.
yeah. I mean, I appreciate your concerns, and I appreciate both sides, and I'm gonna tell you that I feel in some ways that we are compelled by precedents and by the way we dealt with stuff, and they came to asking for a bigger sign, we said no. And actually, the previous testimony was very helpful about that. Although I probably would not have liked a bigger sign anyway. But we have a lot of precedents here where this has happened before, and I truly understand it. And I'll be interested to see, and I will see. I'm going to contact you after once it's done, and I want to see how you feel about it. I'm not. If it happened, but. We sort of closed public hearing, we've had a little more that had been impromptu. Does anybody else have any other comments, or do you want to?
I do.
Okay.
Joe, have you measured the actual sign that's there now?
The sign that's there now, yes.
And what is it? The
5 by
actual.
8.
It is,
Yes.
because the pictures kind of show that it's twice as wide as it is tall. But you did measure the actual sheet area.
I did.
Okay.
And it's 40 square feet.
Actually, no, it's 4 by 8.
Ah,
But when you add the little Sunday services, 8 AM to 10, we took that entire width there, going out to the
No,
end
that,
of Sunday
see, that's not
services.
the supports are not part of the sign.
No, not
no,
The
see the little
little
sign on the
sign.
Sunday
edge?
services, 8 AM, yeah, that. So if you go out to the end of that, that's where we measured the widest part.
Yeah, but the whole, so you don't have 40 square feet now.
And that's not what I measured. I hooked it onto the big part. So I measured the area of the big part.
Which is
So this is
Which
still an
means the new
increasing
sign
area.
is increased.
larger.
Mhm.
Yep.
Can you shrink it down to the 3
Well,
lines
it's gonna
of wording? And shrink it
First
down?
of all, the bottom line, I'm going to tell you that I was basing my entire concept here on the fact that you were not increasing size. We can't take that little part at the bottom and make the whole thing that long. We can only take the size of the main thing, but even still, I would tell you that I can see easily where you could take the bottom line off. I know you want room for 4 things, but we could take the bottom thing off. I would say that if what you have there for the main sign is 4 by 8, that the most we could, under precedent, grant one for, a variance for would be 4 by 8, would be 32 square feet. So that this sign would have to change from what you submitted now to 4 feet tall by 8 feet long. Or, I'll say it, or if it's 5 feet tall, it'd be 6 feet something long, but I don't think that works as well. And it would keep it lower down. The second thing I'd like to talk about is that pedestal. Now that we're back to this, is there a reason the pedestal's so tall?
It's 18 inches high.
Huh?
It's 18 inches higher. the pedestal.
I know. I'm wondering if it would work better if that whole sign came down closer to the...
Aren't they required to keep plantings underneath it?
Yeah, but they've got, where all that brick...
So the aesthetics of the brick is what you're asking to remove, or?
Huh?
The aesthetics of the brick matching our building is what you're
That's
asking to
fine,
remove?
right. I don't know, they could keep pretty shallow plantings in there less than 18
Well,
inches.
I wouldn't worry about the plantings. Well, what are you saying, instead of 18, make it 14, or? Say,
No, I'm saying, right now, you've got, your sign is shown, not counting the, this sign is 60 plus 3, 63 plus 18, 81 plus, is that brick and all that 2 feet?
18 inches is what it is.
The brick and then a foundation below it, it looks like
Well, the
that.
whole thing is 18 inches, yes.
It's 24 counting the foundation, so that you've got 2, 3.5, 7.5, over almost 7 feet 9 inches tall, 8 feet tall, at least to the top of the cross.
I show 19, or 9 feet tall.
Huh?
I show 9.
Could be close to 9,
Well, you got
right?
13 on
6,
top, you got
5,
5.
6
so
and a
call that
half,
6.
8
and
and a
then you
half,
got 6
probably
with
9
your
feet
brick.
tall.
6 and 3.
Right, so probably 9 feet tall. So what I would say is, there's a couple issues here, and I know we don't want to keep coming back month after month, so I'm just going to tell you, we've talked about precedent a bunch. My precedent concept was based on that I thought the existing sign was 40 and you're replacing it with 40. It's not. Even if you take the little bit of that sign that's sticking out, it's only about 2 square feet or 3 square feet on each one. You move that down, Joe.
The current sign
I want
down.
that. Just move it right down. Right, yeah, right. This, this is 4 by 8. This little bit here is about 1.5 by 1.5 feet. Your total signage is 32 plus maybe 6. So it might be 38 square, 35 square feet maybe. But I can't even really, I don't want to count this. I understand why you did, but if we're talking about precedent, and we go to something the size of this, because that's really what you mainly see, the little one on the bottom, then I would say that we're talking about making this main body of the sign, if you want it 8 feet long, 4 feet tall, which is comparable to the main body of that sign. And I don't like that it's 9 feet up. It's 9 feet up in the air to the top of that sign. That's the other thing that I don't think we've talked about at all. I mean, I think we're fine on the seeker. It is what it is. But 9 feet is pretty tall up in the air. so that I understand why you want the brick,
It matches the building.
but I'm talking about, first of all, if you go to 4 feet instead of 5, there's 1 foot. And if you take most of this 18 inches, this pedestal down, and bring this down, and if you look at the Church of the Nazarene sign, which we've talked about, that's down low.
Yeah, they have no trees, no nothing.
I understand that,
Close to the.
but you're also, this is up on a hill a little bit, right?
Right, and back, so it takes the
Right.
sight away.
But I think people are gonna, I'm just telling you that I'm trying to, we can talk about the height, but right now, this sign exceeds the size of what you have now.
Because we have air right now, because you can see it from the back, we have air.
No,
rather than a
because if
solid
you take
pedestal
that
coming
white
down.
sheet that says the United Methodist Church,
Yeah,
that is 4 feet by 8 feet,
okay,
that, all right?
okay.
I know that you said, oh, we went all the way over to the end of that
Yeah.
sign, but the whole sign's not that big, just that little piece sticking out. You
Okay.
can't compute the square footage of the sign by the furthest reach each way,
Oh, okay.
okay?
We thought we had.
I
to
don't
measure it
even
that way.
count, to me, that little 1.5 is like some tacked on, not real sign. I mean, I don't know how to say it any other way, but your sign is really that main sign. That's sort of like a thing, like a flyer. I know it's real, but I'm just saying. And aside from anything else, one of the things, even if we talked about that being about 1 foot by 1 foot, it'd be like 2 more square feet from this. You have 64 square feet.
Okay.
Maybe it's 66, but I don't want to, what I'm going to tell you is that I don't see precedent-wise. There are 2 issues. One is the precedent of same-size sign.
Okay,
So that you would need to reduce this sign, and I'm not talking about the little cross part on the top. I'm talking about this main illuminated sign
The
down
blue
from
and
5
white.
feet to 4 feet.
the blue and the white area.
Yes.
Down to 4 feet.
Right. Now, you've got still room for 3 sets of letters. You're gonna have to make the United Methodist Church a little bit smaller, or change the way you do it, or, well, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
you've got 3 inches but that's not even counted as part of that. What I'm telling you is, and that's what sign people do,
mhm,
they make stuff fit, and I've dealt with all kinds of signs. I've built a lot of car dealerships in my life, and dealt with all kinds of every size sign. I can't support granting a variance for more than you have now.
okay.
I can support granting a variance for the same size you have now, which I consider to be 32 square feet per side.
So go to 3 lines instead of 4.
Well,
To be-
however you fit it, more important, 4 feet instead of 5 feet. Where you have 60 inches needs to become 48.
Or 32 square feet aside, however.
Or
you
32
get
square feet.
However we can.
Hey, yeah, if you want to make the sign 6 feet, 6.4 feet times 5 feet, it's still the same size. So that's one issue. The second question is, I just think it's too tall. I understand why you want it to be up there, but this thing is, it's 9, I don't know if I was thinking about it until I actually started looking at this. It's 9 feet tall. That's big. I'd like to see, I understand you want the brick.
Yeah,
I understand that.
yeah.
And what is the story on the planting below the sign?
Needs to be permanently landscaped. There's nothing that says what type of plantings or.
Okay.
Right.
It has to be permanent. What that's for is to stop people from, actually, sometimes the hindrance, because people have these taller signs, they put landscape around them and you can't see in traffic.
Right.
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 But that's not the issue
No,
here.
we plant small.
So you
things
might
like
want to
that.
consider, you've got a foundation shown there for the brick.
Yeah.
That's 6 inches. You might want to take that down, reduce the brick down. Well, I'm just saying, reduce,
No,
so it's down closer to the
touch
ground.
1958 brick.
Huh?
When you touch 1958 brick, I don't know what we're gonna find. It's
Do-
been there since
do you have the brick?
1958.
It's there, so you're gonna leave that there.
Yes,
Oh, I see, yeah.
yes, I mean,
I thought you were gonna change.
No.
Then, if
No.
you leave
We're
that
not gonna
alone,
touch
then
it.
I don't see how you can, I think you could still landscape a little bit with very low flowers,
Right, because that's about 18 inches right.
but that
now.
18 inches, I think has got to be down at least a foot or something, Scott, right? To 6 inches or 8 inches or something.
What is it right now?
It's about 18 inches right now.
I'm sorry,
Supports
say,
are 18?
if you're gonna leave the brick,
Yes.
I think that the bottom of the sign should be no more than about 6 or 8 inches above it.
Ron, it's 24 inches on one side and 18 on one and 24 on the other. If you look at the picture that you just had up, you can see the foundation of the brick.
Right.
That's 2 feet on that side. And it's
Which side,
On the left side, it's 2 feet and it's
Yeah.
18 inches on the right
Because it goes
side.
into the
but is it closer to the road, it's less?
more.
Is more.
More,
Because
that's
it's-
closer to the road.
Yeah.
Because for it to be even.
But that's gotta stay level.
I understand.
Right. So what I'm gonna tell you is that I would wanna see a sign 32 square feet, and I'm gonna recommend, honestly, just to keep it lower, that I'd like to see it 4 foot by 8 foot, right? Because now we're taking a foot off the height of the sign. This is not counting the scroll work at the top,
Okay.
and a foot off,
Right,
Of the
18
pedestal.
is right now. Okay.
right?
18 becomes.
And that's 2 feet less in height. I understand why you can't get rid of the foundation now, okay?
So the electrical.
Does that make sense? I'm not trying to,
Yeah, so reduce the 18 inches we have right now between the brick and the bottom of the sign.
right, I would like to see 6 inches. In other words, take a foot off the pedestal, off the riser, and a foot off the height of the sign.
Wait, I'm confused now.
I'll tell you, I'm going right
Yeah, please do, Ron, because I'm confused, because you're taking
Simple.
2 feet off and I'm not.
This is 18 inches.
Where it is right now.
I want you to take 12 off so that the bottom of the sign is right here, 6 inches above the pedestal. And then a foot off the sign, that's 2 feet altogether.
So you want 18 inches to become 6 inches.
That's right, and 60 inches to become 48.
Square.
See, becoming 48, I think, might make sense. I'm just trying to fathom how we're gonna get, will it support with that short on
Oh, the support.
this? Okay, all right, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I understand. The support.
Because 18
It's
is what
actually
it is
easier,
now,
probably,
so.
frankly, but the,
So we're taking, in essence, the visual of the white is gone. So we've got the sign sitting on brick, is what it basically will. as you
well,
drive by.
no, it'll be 6 inches above it. You can still have
2 seconds.
plants coming out, low
Grass.
plants. Edgings, I'm not being sarcastic.
Yeah.
They're gonna be all down there, you can keep them low. I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
I'm more concerned, I'm not as concerned about how you landscape it. Honestly, you could landscape it with lawn.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, right?
You could just put grass in there, that's landscape, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure there has to be any flowers showing. I think they could
No,
put
but
landscape
you could
stones in there.
put phlox or something there, and they'd stay low or something.
Yeah.
That's up to you.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is get a 9-foot sign down to 7 feet tall.
Okay, well, one of the things you just told them was that they could come up with a variation of height based on getting to that square footage. So
True.
you did just tell them that they could go 5 feet high by
Right,
6.
But I'm gonna tell you that I think to get the length of the Plattsburgh United Methodist Church and the symbols on each side and stuff, that you need the 8 feet.
Yeah,
So that I think you can shrink it down to get a foot out of it. You can you may end up going to 2 rows of letters bigger. I'm just saying, I don't know, I can't tell you, that's what he has in his arsenal of sign tricks. But if we want to get this done so you don't ever have to come see us about this again, then I would feel better about determining it, saying it's 8 feet, saying it's 4 feet, saying it's 6 inches above, and being done with it, because then we have a finite thing as opposed to, and I'm concerned about the height, I really am. As much as everything else, that is 7 feet is far more proportionate than 9.
104. Right now, it's 104 inches from the ground to, because, see, measuring.
Right,
the current sign,
104,
We did not.
plus the top stuff. 104 is almost, 108 is 9 feet, okay? That top thing is at least 6 or 8 inches tall.
And that
Matter
does.
of fact, it's 13 inches tall, I take
And
that
the
back,
80
it's
inch-
over.
The 80 inches does not include the 2 feet by the right road or the,
Say that again?
the brick is not included. That 80 inches does not include anything below the actual sign itself, where the brick is, where the.
I know
plants
that, but
go.
if you look, you've
That's
got
why I'm
18
confused how
inches,
that's
you
right
have shown above the brick,
above the brick,
18
80 inches.
plus 3,
Yeah.
that's 21, plus 60, that's 81 inches, right?
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. So we have 80 inches height between the top of the supports and the bottom of the
Oh, you're
white
talking about
sign.
on your existing sign?
Our existing sign. See, right now, the bottom of the
Right.
white sign,
Right, but that's not signage.
well.
The supports are not signage.
So why is the brick not being taken into consider, or even the air, the 18 inches of air and the brick coming into
I'm-
the total current sign when we're looking at the new sign?
I'm not,
Okay,
your sign starts right at the brick. Oh, no,
no, it
No.
doesn't. So what I'm saying is the 80 inches brings us, thank you, to here. So,
what,
this, which
80
is
inches?
18 inches.
The 80
Now.
inches from
She's
the
saying
top of
80
the
inches
M.
down.
See, 80 inches is from here to that top. This is 18 inches right now, this is 2 feet right now, and this is the diminished size. So if we take this.
You're proposing something taller than that.
I think what she's saying is she's proposing something similar. Because the only unknown there is what is the dimension from the top of the brick to the bottom of the sign?
About 18 inches.
And to the top of those other things.
Well, she's proposing essentially the same thing.
Well, basically to have the
Well-
signage part to start right where it starts now.
Right.
Not having to reduce brick, not having to reduce this and get
Pedestal.
rid of it except the pedestal except for 6 inches. See, where I'm confused is, I didn't consider up to this point, think this, anything below this line is being.
I understand what you're saying,
Does that make sense now?
except that since there's a concern about the type of sign in general, and it's an internally lit sign, as opposed to one where the
Okay.
light fades off.
Let's take a step back.
Thank you.
I think that your 80 inches that you have here is from the top of the brick.
No,
Well, it's 48 inches from, that sign is 48 inches tall, the actual solid part. Joe measured it as 48 inches. And if you're gonna tell me that that M on top is 32 inches when the sign is 48, that's not right.
that line though, where the 80 inches is shown, that's above the supports and.
Well, I
substantially
see
above
what
the
you're
brick.
saying, but if you take a look at proportions, that the height of the solid wood sign is 48 inches. Joe measured it, okay? So you take 48 inches from 80 inches, you got 32 inches left. And you're saying that that M
48.
above is 32 inches, I tend to dispute that.
My phone can look at me when we measured it.
Does it matter? I mean, what we're looking for is what we want in the
2 weeks
future.
ago.
Well, yeah, and that's part of the issue, and I think that it's also, those supports were not ever,
Well, but what she's saying is those supports are the same height as the top of this cross. And I think that 80 inches that she's using is from the top of the brick.
right,
It includes the 18 inches.
yes.
Because that M is not 32 inches, it's not almost 3/4 of the height of the sign.
Say that was,
It's not almost 3/4 of the height of the sign.
this sign is taller.
Wait, hold on a second, I'm getting our measurements out.
Well,
that you
listen.
have
I'm getting
here.
there.
Yeah, what I'm saying is the bottom of that line, I think, is from the top of the.
It probably
brick.
is.
6 feet 8 inches.
If you have a 4-foot sign and about 1.5 feet up above it, maybe it's 5.5 feet, right?
I would say you're lucky if that M is 1.5 feet.
Right. But
Okay, the
it's-
highest point is 6 feet 8 inches, the width is 9 feet 5 inches.
From the
Well,
height,
from
the height
edge of
from
that
what?
sign.
But the height from what datum?
From the base of the sign to the 9 feet 5, the height, 6'8". So that was, how far did I crawl? Did I crawl all the way to the top, or did I just put the white sign? When you and I were out in the rain?
But more important, here's the issue really more importantly.
Okay,
We're here for a variance.
yeah.
Right. So whatever you have, what you have existing is nothing like this sign. So
Correct.
if we want to go to this sign and we want to use the precedent of something being the same size or smaller,
Yeah,
the first question is that we cannot make this sign 5 feet by 8 feet because it's bigger than the sign you have now. So that's issue number one, that we could not, I don't see how we can grant a bigger sign than the one you have now. Do you,
I would
make
be
with that?
against it.
So the first question, aside from anything about the height, is that we can look at a 4-foot by 8-foot sign because that's what you have now. Okay? Forgetting about the two little pieces on the end, but you measured that, correct, Joe?
I did.
Okay, so that's question number one. The other thing is that because this is an internally illuminated and different type of sign, the question is how much high, it seems like this sign is gonna be 9 feet plus in the air, almost 9.5 feet. And so, no matter what you have now, we would like to see it, because of the type it is, lowered. And that would seem to make it less obtrusive. So the way to do that is to move the sign itself down closer to the base.
okay, I'm gonna ask for clarification on 9 feet high. If there's a foot, let's say 1 inch of the decoration on the top,
If there's a what?
the 13 inches of the decoration on the top.
Yeah.
Then the sign itself is 5 feet.
That's right.
60 inches, so that's
60,
6.
73 inches.
That, yep, we're a little over 6 feet now. Then we have, if we're gonna start counting air, we have 18 inches of air, which we didn't measure in the other one. So see where, if we had including decoration, 6 feet 1 inch. How is that a 9-foot sign?
That's not the point. The point is that you have an internally illuminated sign, and one of the things about getting a variance is going to be that you may not be able, it's a different kind of sign, and perhaps we feel better about granting one that's down a little closer to the ground. You're actually not entitled to any of it. Theoretically, you're asking for a variance. I mean, I'm not trying to be difficult, but you've come and said, we want something that is outside what the ordinance allows.
Right.
We're saying that precedent seems to allow us to grant the same size sign, but
Yeah.
it doesn't say anything about whether we should grant you the same height sign. So the height of this sign doesn't matter. What if you got a
So it could
sign
be
that
much
was,
wider.
what if you got a sign that was 12 feet long and 24 inches?
Okay.
Right, I'm not saying
No,
that's,
but Church of the Nazarene is similar to that, yeah.
what's that?
The Church of the Nazarene is like that.
That's right.
Probably because blinding on
Right.
Cornelia Street, you couldn't have it tall.
Right, but the point is that this sign, as a big illuminated sign, internally illuminated sign, and it is the same size, if we go to the same size you have, still seems pretty tall at 9 feet high. That sign, I don't know as that sign is 9 feet high, right now that you have. I'm not talking about the support structures, they have nothing to do with the sign. Okay? The 80, I don't know, you've got a 4-foot sign,
And an 18-inch between the bottom of the
that's
sign and
5'6",
Okay,
so it might be 7'6" to the top of the sign.
okay. Yeah, it's taller than I am. I had to stand on the bridge.
Okay, it's 7'6", but this one is gonna be 9 feet. The way you have this laid out now is gonna be 9 feet, so if we take a foot off it, now we're down to 8 feet, and if we can lower the pedestal, we're down some.
Pedestals really not gonna make any difference in terms of
Yeah.
visibility of the
My
sign.
math doesn't get mine, but okay.
Ron, can I just,
Yeah.
you know, I've done a lot of variances. So, am I to understand that if the church would agree to changing the sign to 32 square feet and lowering the height to the height that we just discussed, that the board would be inclined to
Right.
approve the variance
Right,
this
especially-
evening?
Yes, especially if the sign is 4 feet by 8 feet, because that allows it to come down one of the 2 feet that we want to reduce the height, as opposed to keeping it 5 feet by 6 foot
I
2.
understand. I don't believe personally that lowering the pedestal is gonna make any difference aesthetically, one way or the other, if the board feels that it helps
Yeah.
to go.
It just gets all the light down a
Again,
little bit.
it isn't my decision, it's obviously Bonnie's and the church, but
Right.
from my opinion, that's not gonna make any difference in terms of visibility, probably won't really make any difference in terms of the aesthetics, and so everything is fine, so it's just a matter of if the church would agree to
Mhm.
basically change the sign to 32 square feet versus 40 square feet, and the difference,
Right.
that
Do you see
you'd
any
be
re-
inclined to
Right.
grant the
Do you
variance.
see any reason not to go to 4 feet by 8 feet?
Personally?
Yeah,
No, you know, it's always better to have, we can't, the letters themselves are stock letters, okay? So we don't have the flexibility of making a 8-inch letter become a 6.5-inch letter, because they are what they are, okay? So what will either happen is it will either have 3 lines of copy, or that we could have 4 lines of copy, and instead of having 6-inch letters, we could have 4-inch letters. That's just, that's not a
Yeah,
cost factor
yeah.
for the church.
Right.
It's, you know, bigger is better. So I would say that probably changing it to either, probably would be the 3 lines of changeable copy, leaving
yeah,
everything else.
and that part I don't
basically
care
the
about, I
same.
only care about the sign size.
Right, I understand. So again, and again, Bonnie has to
So-
make that decision if she wants to move
Yeah.
forward or
Right.
not. But
So
I
I-
understand that at least from the sign manufacturer's position, it seems like that, you know,
Right.
the request of the board is
Right.
okay.
I would say, here's the question in a nutshell. I think somebody might make a motion that would include the terms 4 foot by 8 foot, 32 square foot per side sign, and a pedestal reduced to 6 inches.
And not including the decorative top, which was.
Yeah,
which is in-
that doesn't include
which
the
is in
decorative
addition-
top, which is
right,
separate.
Which is in addition to the.
Talking about the illuminated
I
portion.
understand. I understand.
That doesn't include the 3-inch frame either.
I understand.
Ron, can I just interject for a second here? I just want to make sure you're all on the same page, and you guys can. I don't think there's any difference in height. I think you guys got mixed up.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the new sign, and you want to start at the pedestal, 18 inches, plus the 60 is 6.5 feet, plus the top 13, that brings it to about 7.5 feet.
Yeah.
So I think in one case, you're counting the brick,
brick.
including in that, as opposed to the other one.
Right,
So,
but
I mean, you guys.
I understand that, but I
just
still
wanna
feel
make
better
sure-
with an illuminated sign
That's fine.
coming down than, height is a different thing than square footage,
Yeah,
to me.
I just want to make sure you're all on the
That
same page
is,
about
it's
that.
not 9 feet, right?
Well, this one is shown as 9 feet.
It's 9 feet if you count the bottom 2
brick.
feet.
Right.
On-
No,
Right.
this one
No,
is
yeah,
shown.
no, this is what we're talking about. Look at, okay, so you got 18 inches plus the 60,
That's-
right? That's 5 feet, 18, that's 6.5, plus that 13 is 7.5. So that whole, that whole
But you
sign-
still have to count the brick.
Plus 2.
Yes, but he's counting the brick on this one, but he's not counting it on.
No,
the
I've
second
counted
one.
on that one.
No.
No, I don't think you. I'm, just my perception, I don't think. it's-
Because that one's already a foot shorter. It's 4 feet. That one's not, even if everything else was the same, that one is 4 feet to the top of the sign, plus the 18, plus the 2 feet.
Because
3
you're
and a
not
half
counting
and
the
4 is 7.5
It's
feet.
not counting the M.
I'm not counting those supports, they're not part of the sign.
Okay,
That's why I think there's a difference.
all right.
I don't count the supports as part of the sign, they're not part, the fanciness at the top, that's part of the sign. Those are just some stuff that's stuck there to hold the sign. That's different to me, that's like the back of a billboard, that's why I'm not counting it. That's where our difference is.
Ron, one-
I agree that the top of those supports
Yeah,
are
I
about
thought you
the
were, I
same.
thought you were counting that.
I don't disagree. So the question is, would you like somebody to make a motion for a 4x8, 32 square foot per side sign,
32 square feet,
per side,
yeah.
64 total, internally illuminated sign with a 6-inch pedestal, a pedestal that extends, I'm sorry, the bottom of which is 6 inches above the existing brick.
Yeah, at 32 square feet. Let's not confine it to 4 by 8, because if it's 4.5 by 7.5, it would accomplish, you know what I'm saying? I don't know until the design. Can we agree on 32 square feet?
Not
I
to
understand
exceed
that,
7
but-
feet.
Huh?
Not to exceed 7 feet tall.
Is that what,
You don't want to go above 7 feet total, so a 32
Above
square
7.5.
foot sign not to exceed 7 feet tall.
no, because then they can't come down more closer to the pedestal. Okay, is there a reason you're worried about the
Because I haven't talked to the design team yet to see proportionally what's gonna work. You know, if it's 6 inches more in width and 6 inches less in height, we're accomplishing the same square feet.
Yeah, I just don't want it to become another, I don't want it to stay 5 feet tall and 6.5 feet wide.
it
Shall
would-
shall I make a
That's
motion?
140.
Yeah, he's gonna,
Okay,
It wouldn't do
let's-
that because the size, I would convince them that that was not a good idea because the size of letters would make, because an average letter is about the same height it is wide, and they wouldn't be able to say anything. So the width is better to stay at the 8 feet. That's appropriate.
okay, go ahead, Scott.
Well, here, I'll give you some flexibility. I'd like to make a motion to approve, let me get this all correct here, in regards to Appeal 2109, United Methodist Church at 127 Beekman Street, Class B variance to replace the exterior sign. Based on this revised proposed signage, maximum square footage of the illuminated portion to be 32 square feet. And the maximum height.
How much?
32 square feet
Right.
per side.
Mm-hmm.
And the maximum height of the illuminated portion to be 54 inches. So that'll give you up to 4'6". So you do have some flexibility, and you can definitely go shorter, no limits on width.
Does that
And
limit what
about
is
the pedestal?
painting that's not illuminated?
Lowering the pedestal to 6 inches
Above
Thank
the
you.
brick.
above the brick. Brick to the bottom of the illuminated portion of the sign.
Actually, the bottom of the sign,
Well, they do have it
Because
to
you
the
have
bottom of
3
the
inch
sign.
frame.
Okay, so, yeah, so to the bottom of the sign.
Just to the bottom of the sign?
Yes. So the 18 inches on this plan goes to 6. The 60 inches goes to a maximum of 54 inches, and the total square footage of the illuminated portion per side of 32 square feet.
okay? So a second.
Uh-oh.
I'll second.
Who seconded? Oh. The yes vote is to approve it. Okay, we have 2 noes and 3 yeses. It requires 3 yes votes to approve it. So you are approved. As is the case, I'll do it quickly. I want everybody to say why they voted the way they did.
I don't think that this sign conforms with the feel of the neighborhood. I think it is too commercial. I think that's it in a nutshell.
I would second that. I didn't approve it for that same reason. I think it changes the character of the neighborhood and makes it look too commercialized. I don't have an issue with the size that we were proposing, but
Yeah.
definitely the look of it.
Yeah. I voted yes because I think that there were some compromises made. Number one, I think that eventually most of the older type signs are gonna get approved by them, and I think that in the end, it probably will be relatively aesthetically pleasing. And I also felt bound by precedent that it was the same organization or company or whatever changing their sign, and especially once we realized what the actual size was, that we were not exceeding it. I think that it'll help that it's facing true north and south and not beat out. And I think lowering the height down from 9 feet to 7 feet total was very helpful. Otherwise, I probably would not have liked it, because I would have felt like it was sort of a mall sign. But I voted yes, mainly because of precedent. Okay.
Yeah, I voted yes for all those reasons, and I'm fairly persuaded by the location of the sign. It's quite a ways back from the road, very different from a lot of the other places of worship and where their signs are located. I also think it's I don't consider it so much a commercial sign as more of a modern sign. I think that's a matter of just a subjective taste, but I do think it matches the church itself better, whereas other churches in the area tend to be much, much older, and so a sign like this wouldn't probably work for them anyway, whereas I think this one matches better. So, those are my reasons.
Scott?
Basically, I could just reiterate what you guys said, but I think the location with Muron's across the street kind of sways me. If Muron wasn't there, I probably would never have approved it.
Okay.
But they were all grandfathered in, and I don't find, I'm hoping this is not brighter than what's there now.
Good.
Okay,
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. All right. Next one, Christoph Bertel. Alan, thank you for coming.
I need that bottle of wine.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Good evening. We postponed you. Add 2 bedrooms over the garage. And I have your original thing, and then you wrote, thanks for the extension. And are we correct that you didn't change the application? You couldn't?
We tried everything that we could to actually make it smaller. The way we requested, so we can go with a smaller variance possible. But we can't do that, and we explained it better.
So, just to be clear, Joe, can you tell me what the deficiencies?
Well, the deficiency comes out to lot coverage. They exceed the lot coverage currently. 25% is the maximum in that district. They already are at 29.3. And this addition would bring them to 34.6. There's also a side yard setback issue. The garage as it stands right now, being detached, is considered an accessory structure and can be as close as 5 feet to the sideline, which is already closer than that. But if it's attached to the house, it has to meet the setback requirements of the house, which would be 10 feet. So it's too close there. And then if extended out along that same line towards the front, that would be aggravating that non-conforming use.
Okay. I'm gonna open this to the board first for questions. Everybody, you weren't here last time for this one.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. We had correspondence from the neighbor who said next door, who said they didn't have an issue with it at all. We had some questions. I'll go to Scott on that. You want to talk about our concerns?
Well, I mean, just once we found out what it really entailed, you know, I went through the numbers, and right now, they're 17% over the allowable, and what they're planning is to double, more than double the percentage over the allowed coverage. You know, they talk, you know, 4.3%, but that's actually 17% over 25. You know, and if you look at it that way, they're significantly aggravating
I'm
the.
sorry, say that once more.
Well, they talk they're 4%, 4.31% over it and over 25%, but that's 4.3% over the total coverage. So if you take a look at the amount of area that they are over the allowed area, they're 17% over it. And they're more than doubling that. It's all in the numbers, how you look at it. They aren't just adding 5%, they're doubling their non-conforming area.
Please explain that, how you come up with 17%?
Very easy. You're 4.3% over the 25% allowed. So you take 4.3 and divide it into 25%, and that's 17%. And then if you take your 34.67, take 9.67 over 25%, then you're 38.7% over the allowed amount. You know, when you're taking a look and saying, oh, the additional requested dwelling coverage is 5.3%. Yes, it's 5.3% of your total lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But not 5.3% of your allowed.
No, it's actually 4%
Right.
over the lot that is being already.
Over the total lot.
Yeah, I think though that either way
It's
you
significant.
look at it, it sort of means the same thing. It just demonstrates differently by saying that.
Yeah, but it makes it,
What
It
he,
is
in a
significant.
sense, what he's saying is that if you take the 25%, you're gonna be about, almost 10% more, which is significant amount of the 25% you're allowed. That's,
Yeah.
in a sense, what you're saying.
Because right now we are 29%.
correct.
Right, but that's already exceeds what you're allowed.
Yes, right.
Right. So the question is, there's no way for you to reduce this at all, right, or put it, I mean, I don't mind it coming out even with the neighbor's garage, that part. I'm not even so worried about the,
But that's where all the coverage is going, isn't it? I mean, that's,
well, and some in between, right?
yeah.
Did you look at get a chance to look at this much? Do you have any questions about it or comments? or-
No, I kind of share the same sentiments as Scott does with the percentage being over.
I don't have a problem with it connecting to the garage. I have a problem
Okay.
with, hey, I don't have a problem with it connecting to the garage and building on top of the garage. I have a real problem with just
Extending.
extending it forward and just taking up that much more.
Mhm. I guess I, does the 10 feet in the front, is there any way to get rid of that? That 10-foot extension in the front? See where it's 40 feet? Is it not possible to get rid of that?
And make it even with the garage,
What's that?
and make it even with the garage.
Yeah,
The garage is, the way that the garage was built is it's not long enough for put a van and be able to comfortably put anything around or take anything out of the back. Therefore, the extra 10 feet were allowed to have a garage that would be decent for the size of cars that offer now, like an SUV or a van.
what's the story with second floor overhangs?
Second floor overhangs
Count or
count the same, yeah?
Huh?
Yeah,
They count as covered,
yeah. Yes.
not just foundation.
Right.
So if he extends over, it counts as coverage.
It does.
Well, that garage is 22 foot 3 inches. If you took the 5 feet on the front and back and only did it on the second floor, it'd still count as coverage, but it wouldn't be down on the ground. You know what I'm saying, Scott?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
If you could make the upstairs a little bigger, because you can extend out past the garage with the second floor,
In the front or in the back?
both, 5 feet each way, or, but just I'm talking about the upstairs.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying not so far out.
We can't do anything towards the back.
What's that?
We can't do towards the back of the property.
You can't.
No. There's a tree about 4 feet away. You can't see it because of the leaves
What-
being down. It's right between the neighbor and us in the back of the garage. It doesn't show it, it's dark.
Yeah, I know, it's not showing it on that one, okay.
Right there.
Okay.
You see it. That 5 feet would actually get right into the branches.
The problem is that it's so much coverage variance. That's really the issue. I mean, as it is, this whole concept of building right, so a living quarters, we don't let people build second floors and garages because we don't want living quarters above garages. I mean, we thought maybe you would come back with something a little different. I understand you couldn't.
We were considering moving everything to the back, but then it was not a good idea of the neighbor, I'll be honest. Because that would be taking down the tree and making it more in, blocking more light.
What tree is in the way?
Is the tree in the way? Yes, to move the second floor in the back, yes.
Oh, okay. All right, I see it.
It doesn't show on this on this.
Well, it shows just kind of hazy spot.
I mean, I guess what I would tell you is I don't see, my personal opinion, and I'll open up the public hearing after, but I don't see it, you being able to get the coverage and the side yard and all that stuff that you're asking for, because it seems so extreme. I think that there seems to be a willingness to look at the side, building to the edge of the garage And what really seems to be the issue probably is this front 10 feet. So the question is, can you get away with not doing the front 10 feet?
The front is only for the garage part, and then there's a setback of 5 feet for the second floor. So the second floor is not
I know, but it's still coverage.
covered.
That's the problem. So,
Even though it's a parking space, it's really nothing down.
no, I know, but it's coverage, it's building coverage. There's a reason, there are different things in green space and all that.
We tried to come up with plans that would actually make it smaller because that's what was
What's that?
requested. We tried to make plans to make it smaller, to not exceed that from the garage. But it was very difficult to come up with the area that we will have to convert into the hallway and two bedrooms and other things. It would be such a small thing that the bedrooms would be.
Mhm.
And aesthetic to
What
make it
about
would
coming
actually
forward
look.
5 feet instead
Hmm?
of 10? 5 feet instead of 10?
I don't know.
So what about maybe cutting that in half instead of coming up 10
That's
feet, coming up
definitely a
5
possibility.
feet?
Does that help you, Scott? No, I'm not being,
No, I just have a real problem with this.
Do you have any
Just-
comments, or?
I mean, I sympathize with the issue, but, you know, it's a house purchased as is, whatever. And if you outgrow a house, you end up moving.
I mean, I think we were hoping that you'd come back with something less on the coverage. I think we don't seem to have as much of an issue about the side. I actually have more, for me personally, it was more of an issue about the side yard than it was the coverage. I think there is an issue with coverage, and I think it's true that we are limited by what we buy and what will fit on a lot. I mean, I can tell you that if you want to postpone again and come back, try and come back with something smaller, we can do that. I don't see that you're going to get the support for the coverage that you're asking for now. That's all I'm going to tell you. If we vote on it and it gets defeated, you can't come back for a year with the same proposal. You can come back with a different one immediately. It's a new application. Or you can postpone it, try and come up with a smaller plan, really think about it. Maybe you need to talk to have you talked to anybody, a professional at all? Yeah.
We did. And that was very difficult to come up with, even with the garage, maybe the 5 feet, but it seems like that's.
I don't know, but I guess I'm willing to postpone it if you want to try and come back. We thought you were going to come back with something smaller. That's really what we'd hoped for, but it's the same plan and we can't, I mean, we can vote on it, but it's not going to, I'm trying to be honest with you, not, you know.
Thank you.
Do you want to wait? Do you want to come back with, try and come back once?
I have a question now, so smaller would be acceptable.
Well-
I'm not asking for a comment.
Seems to me to get rid of the 10-foot part in the front, don't you think, Scott? Somehow. Now, you can look at, I might compromise that coverage if you extended a few feet, the second floor a few feet, because I don't look at that, even though it's technically coverage, I don't look at it the same way.
That's what you-
Are you saying the second floor would be,
Like an
would
overhang.
extend further forward towards the street?
Yeah, but not much. I mean, you don't extend those out maybe
Yeah.
4 feet or something like, you know, it's an extended floor. Because they can't support,
Right.
you can't just,
Just trying to envision that.
You see one
Right.
of these ranges a lot.
you know, well, even if you could, I'm talking about something out that, okay?
So the coverage will be decreased.
But I'm gonna tell you that, and I'm not trying to just put you off, but we thought it was gonna be smaller, that you would come back with it's exactly the same.
Maybe meet with a different builder who might have a different creative idea. I don't know.
I'm not trying, you know, but we wanted to help you, but we also, we're fairly limited to what we can grant. We're supposed to grant the smallest variance possible, so.
So it's possible that if we stay within the garage and we only gonna,
Say that again?
so if we just gonna stay with the size that we have right now from the garage from to the back, the area between the house and garage, then that would go.
Wouldn't-
Right.
Without the 10 feet, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It would in my eyes.
yeah. I would think that, in other words, we could make we can make a compromise now, vote on it, without that front 10 feet by whatever that footage is, and approve that, correct? Maybe, but I mean, but in other words, that's more acceptable. It's smaller. It's what we would have anticipated you might have provided.
Well, and it's not changing actually any property along the line. You're remaining the size of the garage that's existing, and
Right.
yeah, it becomes more of a variance the minute he puts.
We had already, by the way, done,
Attaches it, but still.
you know, we had done the seeker already.
Did we?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it signed here, and I don't sign them until you tell me to. No, I do.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna open this up before we talk about this. Is anybody here to comment on this? Closing the public hearing portion. Do we wanna look at something like that? Here's the worst. You go and you struggle with that, and you come back and say, hey, we really tried, but we want to change the variance, we apply for a new variance, and we need this or that.
So if we
I'd
stayed-
like- go ahead.
If we stayed within the garage, right?
I'm sorry,
If we
Yes.
stay within the garage, the wall in, the top wall of the garage.
here, I'll go, stay right there. Stay right there.
Yes, this one.
There,
Yes, so the last one that you just showed.
yeah,
then
right
you just
there.
put the wall up, or does it have to be?
How does that show on your original? Does that step back?
Yeah, it's the dotted line that they're showing me.
Yeah.
That steps back because the reason for that is that the neighbor next door
Yeah.
commented. that
So,
Well, no, we wanted to make sure that it doesn't
That-
just
but that
show
would-
up, straight up for the neighbor.
we just thought I said.
That's got it too, by the way. I mean, look
That's
at the
actually
house.
not part of our coverage issue, is it, Joe?
It's not.
No, so I could, because if we're, reducing it in the front, that way I'm losing 5 feet for
You know what she's saying, Scott?
And you've had it set back
This
in the
ends
front
set
as
back
well,
to
right?
here on the second floor. Now she's saying, can I go out to here?
It's not part of the coverage issue, but it is something that requires a variance because it's aggravating that nonconformity of being so close to the property line.
But that's the
Say it
case the
again?
minute they connect them.
Yes.
So whether they stay where they're at now or come over even with the
Doesn't
side of
matter.
the garage, it doesn't matter. It's the
Doesn't
same
affect us.
thing,
Okay.
correct?
So we could potentially.
That's
Your neighbor,
more of
I
a
don't think
variance
cares.
straight.
No,
Because
she doesn't, because she actually,
if you're already
Why?
3 feet,
she hasn't been,
Right.
Why is it more of a variance?
because you're closer to the property line.
But the minute they attach it,
That's
that variance is for the bottom floor.
Absolutely, that's right. Even if they don't go up.
Right.
So moving the top floor over even with that doesn't change the
Doesn't
variance.
change it. Right.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. So would you like us to prepare a motion for eliminating the 10 feet on the front and making your addition cover the footprint of the garage straight back to your house? 2 floors.
Can we come back within a month?
Huh?
Can we come back within a month?
You can come back in a month, or we can vote on that now. It's up to you, either one. Do it now. No, it's up to you. You can come back in a month if you want.
I just have to verify if I can access the house
attach it.
easily at that.
Then come back in a, not a problem, come back in a month. Come back in a month.
Go into that part.
Yeah.
Come back in a
Let's
month.
see what
There are
it-
windows that are.
No problem,
structural
no.
things.
Make sure it works.
If that's doable, then.
Listen, if you want to come back in a month, come back in a month. Want me to postpone it?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're gonna postpone this time on,
Do we,
what did we do it on last time?
I don't know. No,
On the board's Wait a minute, to postpone on the board's behalf.
Okay,
But
this time we're
The
going to
last
postpone on your
time.
But
behalf.
we had already postponed it for up to 2 meetings.
Yeah, but did they come last meeting?
That
Yes,
when
it
we
was May.
postponed
Okay, so you can come back next month again. You're already postponed till next month. Okay.
No
see you again.
motion?
Thank you.
No.
No
Okay.
motion?
Let's make it legal. I'll make a motion, where is my?
Why don't you extend?
That's, I will make a motion in regards to Appeal 2112 for Christoph Hertel to continue their motion to the next board meeting.
Yeah,
I'll second.
second is
I'll
fine.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're all set.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's enough of that. We're going home. Okay.
I'm sure everybody here would just appreciate it if you make a motion to say.
Nat Lawford.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening.
Okay. You had your application before, when was that? What meeting? Okay.
Last
May
meeting.
right?
Last meeting.
Okay. And then we said, come back with some other stuff. You contacted me separately since we know each other and sent me, and then I said, send them all in. Different versions of what might work for you. We have the existing Appeal 2116. We have the preferred plan, which is the one you submitted before. We have an alternate plan 2, and we have an alternate plan 1, and we have an alternate minimal site change plan, alternate 3, I guess. Okay. I'm just gonna open this to the board.
This was postponed from last month as well?
Yes.
Huh?
It was, okay, and
Yes.
what were the reasons for postponing it?
It was
Too much?
because it was, we thought it was, it seemed to meet with resistance because of the coverage. Same reason as the last one.
It goes from 30% coverage to 60% coverage.
Right.
That was their first.
That was
The other is the dimensions.
and then there were some dimension, inconsistencies, I guess. And so do you have the original application?
I don't, yeah.
Okay. Anybody on this?
So the minimal site changes, one is the last page, that's your least preferred? That'd be
Yeah.
a way to
Yes.
characterize that?
Yes.
Okay. And all that is just extending over
To attach
from
the
the home
garage.
to the garage, basically.
Yes.
Correct.
Let
It's kind
me,
of-
so I want to understand something, let's be clear about something, man. The preferred plan takes a part of the house that's 11'4" and turns it into 14'8"
Correct.
and extends it over the same amount to the garage.
Correct.
Okay. The rest of it,
All others have the same.
wait, but let me just say, the front porch is already there, so the rest of it is either down the side and a little bit. The other one is to keep it the same down the side in a little bit. And the other one is an alternate plan where it stays the same, but you have a giant porch.
Yeah, well, all the plans connect the house to the garage.
Oh, no, I know, but but the porch changes on all of them more than anything. So, the 11-foot 4, just so I understand, is single story now or 2-story?
Currently, it's single story,
And you would make it
2-story.
2-story. And if you made it, I want to just talk about construction a little bit. If you made it 14 foot, is that an 8? Yeah. How, would you move that wall out and build a new foundation?
It's currently on, it's either a slab or a dirt foundation, that particular part of the house. Originally, before we were in existence, it was a wood shed. So
Okay.
when we remodeled the inside of the house, looking down under there was like literally 2 layers of wood decking. It appears that there was concrete under there, but I can't say with 100%
Right.
certainty.
So what, to do this though, you're gonna have to build a foundation.
Correct.
Right. On both sides, like, are you gonna, the woodshed part is this 11.4 by about 12 feet where the little porch sticks out, is that all woodshed?
Yes.
That's that portion, right?
Yeah, it's the part that,
Is everything else a regular foundation?
yes, the main house, the rectangle is a basement. And so this addition off the side was originally a woodshed.
So would you tear that off?
That, in my opinion, at the moment,
Right.
seems to be the most practical and
Right. So-
functional way to do it. Tear it off
Right.
and redo it with a new
Right, so
foundation.
as we know, we can make people fix stuff one wall at a time or leave it. So this is too close to the property line, correct, Joe?
Yes.
Yeah, what is that dimension?
Yeah, I don't see that dimension here, but,
I think I understand it to be 3 feet.
huh, 3 feet?
And that's the case for both the house and the garage?
Is the garage 3 feet?
Yes, the garage is backs up to the same level as that.
I actually was not
Okay,
able to
so-
locate the pins.
It looks
so-
like 2 feet to the line.
Can you go back to the picture of the house again? After? Yeah. That thing is 11-foot 4 by 12 feet?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, because there's the two ones, okay. But if you build between the two, is it gonna be 2-story?
Yes.
So it's a chain link fence in the behind there?
Yes.
And that's the property line?
It's debatable. It's the neighbor's fence. Again, I could not locate the actual pins to verify, but
Do you have any
Oh, I
other
see.
dimensional pictures? I know, I mean, we're just kind of looking at a floor plan, but do you have any other dimensions as to what it will look like?
Like an elevation, maybe? Yeah.
I do not have an elevation rendering at the moment.
Okay.
This porch is that little step thing, it's not even really a porch, right?
Yes. I mean, no matter what, both of those porches need to be replaced.
The front one is not good either?
That's right. It needs to be replaced. I don't plan on changing it, but I would like to wrap it around. And I'd also like to mention, I'm not opposed at all to any stipulations stating that any porch areas approved must remain porch areas and can never be enclosed. I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Been hanging around the zoning board too long.
And
Well, I understood that was a concern, and I just wanted to.
We're trying to compromise.
Yeah, I certainly don't want to turn it into living space at any point.
And you're not looking to do anything above the garage, correct?
Yeah, the
Or you-
plan basically brings the second story all the way over above the garage.
Okay, gotcha.
And essentially it adds just under 900 square feet of living space total.
Oh, yes, I see that.
So even the minimal one, you'd add second story to everything.
Correct. For the preferred plan, the whole purpose the only purpose of coming out that extra 3 feet is to add practical access to the basement. Currently, there's a very narrow staircase that's too short. So by adding that space somewhere, we can put a practical staircase in and utilize the basement space in the house.
That stairwell is where right now?
Currently, it would be, let me get behind it. It runs right, the door is like right here and it runs down here.
It's incredibly steep.
Yeah, so we would move it essentially to here or on the back wall. I guess it doesn't make a difference which, but.
Where are you leaning, Mr. Nolan?
Hmm?
Which way are you leaning?
None of the above, I've got a different idea.
I have a-
5 feet,
Well, I have a concern about extending that right straight through, right on the property line.
What was that?
I just have a concern about doing 2 stories all the way up, right on the property line. Especially if he's gonna tear down that wood shed that we, maybe who's buzzing?
Can you go back to the plan from above, Joe?
The plan or the overhead? Overhead or plan? I didn't have a plan. I don't know which one.
No, I meant that one, yeah.
The other one,
Where are we exactly in relation to the neighbor?
under the trees. Okay, and he gave the dimension to the neighbor's house.
He did on the first one, and then
Yeah.
another diagram, he shows 2 feet to the property line, which actually does look fairly close compared to those. Those red lines should be moved back some. So that looks pretty consistent with what we're seeing here.
Is that your hedge or the neighbor's hedge?
Behind the house,
Yeah.
it's hers.
You might have trouble cutting that down to build your,
We've got an agreement with her. She knows they need to come down as they're destroying her garage and ours. We are willing to take care of the costs associated with it.
the cost of taking it down?
Yes, having the trees removed, which of course she's more than pleased with.
Provided she wants to get rid of the hedges?
Yes, she does.
Well, she needs to because they're destroying her garage. They're growing into her garage and destroying the roof. So we agreed, provided we get the variance that we can add on, that we'll have the trees removed.
They're actually shrubs though.
They were 100 years ago.
Incredible.
What are you doing aesthetically, or what is your plan to connect the house to the garage? Are you keeping the color of the house?
Absolutely not.
are
The
you-
entire project will have new siding finance pending, that siding is in really good shape, it's just the most heinous color ever. So, I'm either going to try to find matching aluminum siding, or paint that portion, or we're just gonna have to reside the whole house. Which has always been in the plan since we purchased, and that includes the garage as well.
This doesn't exist.
And we're really trying to set
This exists.
We're not going the other way.
Yes.
5 feet.
And the other reason that we haven't
Tearing this
decided
all
yet
out,
is
don't
because
do this.
You're
of this
waiting.
particular project, there's no
This
point
is
doing it until we can
hundreds.
get it all done and de-rock the porches, the top.
Instead of making this 11 porches, they're tearing
As well as
it out.
gutters.
They want to make it 14 feet or 15 feet even, so that they can get the access. They don't, no big porch across the whole thing.
So there's an end here?
I'm saying, their original asked for. So I'm saying, that makes more sense to me to do than 11-foot floor. That's only because that's what's existing.
Why didn't you draw on this one? Why didn't you draw on this one? It's such a small little piece
With
of
that, you mean,
property right
would that have
here.
been simpler?
Yes.
Am I getting it right? Yeah, okay.
A nice.
That's why you're aware of it, okay, but like, that makes sense to me. I think the 11 floors.
Making this into a two-story thing.
Well,
Tear it
probably
down.
just-
Again, the other piece of it is how would he tie in the roofs right there? Are you, is your plan to remove the garage in order, like, okay, so you said that this new piece would be two
Once
stories?
you're gonna tear that down.
Yes.
And,
In the garage.
and the garage is
I don't
also
have
gonna
a
be
problem
two
with
stories, so you're gonna
14.
take the roof off of
This
the garage?
exists
Okay.
already, take was this, tear it out,
First floor would remain
that's
garage.
this much of this, let them add this little piece of porch here, connect across, 14 feet or 14.8.
Are you
I don't
converting that
care.
into a two-car garage?
Maybe, we're not 100% sure yet.
No big porch across.
Just on the cusp of the right size, so if we can put a double door in, we will.
Huh?
I'm not 100%
What's that?
I'm saying why is this feasible in the last one?
Because we're essentially keeping within the constraints of the garage to the house.
And
Yeah.
and they will on
I'm
this,
hopeful.
this isn't,
The coverage is an issue.
this is
I
within.
mean,
the
I know I can put a double door in, I
constraints,
just don't know if it'll actually fit both cars inside. Because the double door is
The
16
overall
feet
coverage
wide.
is
Right.
not, it's not great, but it's a little,
In my zoning
Now, what about the concept of
Apparently it's not
What?
working.
what about the concept of allowing a porch all the way across here and getting rid of that? And just doing a stoop?
but why did,
That gets your porch away from the street.
except that it's, isn't that where the entrance to the house is?
Who goes in the front of the house?
Can you go back to the picture of the house then?
Hold on a minute, we're still running.
You'll understand when you see my door.
Do you,
Yeah, it's still
the front of the house is the main front of the house, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
most forward.
There's actually a formal foyer in the house.
That's the answer to that, then. In other words, you really want, right. But this gets, does that make any sense to you, Scott?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I'm gonna give you my opinion and mine only, even though I sort of consulted with them. I think that if you're gonna tear down the 11 by 12 area, that it's crazy to make it only 11 foot deep, but we have a coverage issue. This shows the size of the garages that exist, right? You're not any bigger than that.
Correct. The garage
Okay,
is exactly-
so what about the idea of going to the 14.8, which is what they asked for,
That's in the preferred plan.
and wrapping, here's the 14.8,
Yeah.
here's the garage, here's the existing porch, this porch is gone, the door goes here, and so some of this is taken up by the coverage already of the porch, we'll say. But anyway, it's, even if we don't count that, it's like 100 square feet of extra porch, plus whatever we're doing here extra. I don't see, I can't see building an addition, if you're gonna tear it down, it's 11 foot. Well, I mean, it just doesn't even work practically, but on the other hand, we have coverage issues. And I am concerned about the two-story, but I guess it's not that, it's by your garage, so. Does anybody have a thought about that?
So, I'm clear in understanding, you're saying the preferred plan, as is, with the exception of this little chunk right here?
Yeah, that's not as is, but take that little porch off.
Okay.
Take that off.
This part?
Right. This is bigger than what's there. What's there is, here's the house, is something
That little chunk signifies where the current one is.
like that. That's what's there. I'm saying, don't tie them to the 11 foot. Make it, you can't really do
Yeah,
it,
I
right?
agree with that.
Make it the 14.8 and connect the garage.
I like that plan.
Ron, you wanna give that to me, put up here, and then you can explain it?
So we're adding 100 square feet of porch or whatever we're adding. I'd like to figure it out though.
Building is 200.
We are adding 100 square feet of porch, right? Not quite, because they have 25 square feet already.
84.
No, I'm talking about on the side, that little porch. That little porch that was there was 4.5 by
Yeah.
5 or something. So call it 20 square feet. So we're adding 80 square feet, which is the 20 some odd by 5.
Yeah.
Right, of porch. Call it 80. And what are we adding? How long is that, 29? I don't have my thing now, because you got it. 29, is that,
23,
huh?
23.3.
23,
23 by,
14, 8, 33, 14, 8.
okay. Okay, so,
So this is the coverage, that's the coverage amount, right? Percentage? And it's supposed to be like.
Starting at 46.
and how much was that existing little one over here, 11 by 12 or something?
Yeah, it is 12 by 11.4. 11 feet 4 inches.
11 feet 4?
Yep.
We should give them a porch, definitely.
This is more necessary.
We'd be adding, still adding 281 square feet. But I think it's less obtrusive.
I guess I have a problem with granting any more porch.
Okay.
That's my feeling. I mean, the
Okay.
14 versus the 11, you know, that's
That's-
something else, and that's a.
Joe, can I remind back? Oh,
An engineering issue that you would know better than I would.
well,
But
then
I
if
don't,
that's.
I don't see a reason to grant more coverage for porch.
Okay, I don't have a
That's
problem
my
with that.
personal feeling.
Then we could look at,
You're kind of looking at the minimal site change one then.
The minimal
Yeah.
and maybe
Okay.
expanding that 11.
so
to
let's look at it this way.
What he's
We
saying
had,
we need for more room.
Right, into
And,
14.
and this is, my colleague here brought up Mr. Hertel that was just here, and we were talking
All
the
right,
same
so-
thing, allowing them staying within the garage, minimal amount connecting them.
how about this then? If we say that they're gonna rebuild that little porch, they're not, because they're moving it out, they're moving that wall out, they can have that porch back, the little one, right? It's already there, 4.5 by 5,
Yeah,
and the one in the front is already there.
yep.
And we'll let, and a 14.8 by whatever that connector is, that's 201 square feet. Because we're not adding any for the porches.
Yep. I can't see any plausible reason to give them a variance for more porch.
Sure, I don't have a problem with
There's no engineering reason.
that. Do you have a problem with that? I mean, I know you
was
like,
going to comment at the same thing, that's kind of the aesthetics a little bit. I only worry that this little porch here is so little, it is just a step and it looks.
It looks trashy.
It
I was
looks
gonna
trashy.
say, would you even keep the?
Yeah.
No, realistically, no.
Proper.
Well, I mean, you
yeah, I'm
have to
thinking
have it
you-
for
you-
steps to the door, but,
Exactly.
I mean, I'd like to point out what he's trying to say, is that part of this is we are improving the value and the appearance and functionality of our home and our entire neighborhood. So to say, well, we don't really need a porch, I mean, a lot of people don't need three-car garages, and they don't need
Yeah,
all
but
these
it-
other things. and
But
that's
you're
what we're
trying to
do.
put a farmhouse on a postage size
No, I don't
lot.
think so at all. I think we're trying to add potential usable living, space outside. It's usable. We have a lot of weather here, a lot of rain and a lot of snow. So you can't be outside and covered up unless.
I know, but it's a cover, if you had if you had a larger lot, it
I agree.
becomes down to an issue of balancing
Yeah.
stuff not being overbuilt on a lot. And that's, as it is there, relatively, I mean, one of the things is you're increasing the nonconformity of how close you are to the property line in the back. You could say, no, I mean, you're 2 feet from the back for all limits. Look, we just went through the people before you about coverage, and, I mean, and it's the same thing. We can only have a certain, and it, honestly, frankly, it's not our part to talk about increasing the value of it, because we aren't supposed to care about that. Matter of fact, we're not even supposed to do anything that increases the value of stuff half the time. I guess what I would tell you is that you can have a very nice front porch, you can have I mean, I guess I would say that porch in the front is 4.5 by 5, I wouldn't care if it was 5 by 5, would you, or 6 by 6?
Well, and in reality, the other option is to recess that door in and not even grant them that porch and say, we're giving you 14 feet in the corner, recess that in.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't shown us plans as to what you're doing inside, but it would look very nice if it's recessed in.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
As far as porches, we're talking about covered area. I could put a patio out there that's not covered and
Right.
nobody cares, correct?
That's right.
Then I'm absolutely willing to sacrifice that part.
Yeah.
Because again, my whole point is to make it A, aesthetically pleasing, and B, functional space. And it'd be nice to be covered, but you do have a decent sized covered porch in the front.
Yeah.
And I'm more than willing to live with
All right.
that sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna open this to the audience. Does anybody in the audience have a comment about this? Aaron? Mr. Oviatt? No? Mr. Brown? No? Okay, close the public hearing portion. Let's do a seeker. This is a short form seeker, which needs us to look at and make sure, look, variance and building permit, good job. Yeah, Jesus, this is stupid, huh? Could we look at my picture? She just didn't put it together, so. Does anybody have issues at all with the seeker? If not, I'm looking for a motion regarding it.
I'll make a motion in regards to the short environmental assessment form for 14 Maple Street, Matthew Laufer. After reviewing part 1, that the part 2, questions 1 through 11 be checked no or small impact may occur. And as a result of that, the chairman checked the box that we've determined based on the information analysis above that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
Seconded by Kelly. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that's the seeker. Now, we are then looking for a motion that will allow the restoration of the porches the size they are, and an addition of approximately 337 square feet, 14 feet 8 inches wide by the length, which will increase the area less than 136, about 201 square feet.
Before we get too far, what did you decide on the little porch?
Just get rid of it. I mean,
Okay.
if we can use that as patio area.
Okay.
So whatever kind of door we put in, we'll
Make
have
it
some
look
steps,
nice.
but they
Right.
don't need to be covered
Okay.
per se, and
Mhm.
it's not worth it.
Okay, so no existing.
Okay. Then, how shall I word this? I'm assuming you want me to do this, Ron.
You got the best chance of getting it right.
It's a mouthful.
All right. I'd like to make a motion in regards to Appeal 2116 for Matthew Laufer at 14 Maple Street, Class B variance, request to add an addition which exceeds setbacks, coverage, and open space. The plan that I would...
Setback.
He said that.
Oh, he did, okay, sorry.
The plan that I am proposing for approval is what he calls minimal site changes with two changes. One is the 11'4" goes to 14'8",
Yes.
and the small porch attached to that section of the building goes away.
Yeah. Can you say for a net change of about 201 square feet?
I'll believe you. Okay.
No, but I wanted part of it.
Is that what it ended up?
Yeah, it is, I did the math sometimes.
Did you take the porch off?
No, because I never added the porch in.
Okay. For a net change of approximately 201 square feet, increase in coverage.
Actually, if I take the porch off, it's another 20 square feet. But I never took it off. Do you want to change
I
it?
want to take it off.
Okay, then 181 square feet.
Thank you.
181 instead of 201?
Yes.
Yes,
I'll second that.
seconded. Yes,
Oh.
She just seconded it.
She
Seconded.
She said, I'll second it.
You can second it. Let her second it.
Okay.
Okay, Kate,
All in
one of
favor?
the K names.
No.
Maybe we could vote on this.
Okay, a yes vote is to approve this.
I know. Nice there.
And you have 5 yes votes. You're all set? Go get the plans done and the building permit.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have fun with it.
Go down there. Okay. Brent Favreau.
Do we want to put that at the end? Since there's no one here.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
he
not
wasn't
coming,
here.
right? We'll do him at the end.
Yeah.
Jared LaValle. Okay, so we'll postpone the rest of it. No, you won't, he said. Request for a 6-foot fence along Boynton Avenue corner lot. We did have correspondence about this from the city engineer, who's concerned about visibility from the street. We sent our testing agent Scott out. And the county, both said we're concerned about visibility.
If I may, my only concern right there is it's 2 lanes, so if you have any car to your left, your visibility gone.
You have a couple issues. One issue you have is that part of your fence is in the 30-foot setback. I mean, the 30-foot triangle. So,
Slight amount, but yeah.
yeah. So, you have a problem because you're in a, you have two front yards. And your back part, it's not allowed to be a 6-foot fence in either front yard. Are you as concerned about it on Beekman as you are on Boynton?
I'm past the 25-foot setback on Beekman, so I can have it 6 feet tall there.
What's that?
I can have a 6-foot high fence on my eastern side on Beekman because it's after the 25-foot setback, I'm level in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned, I very much would like a 6-foot fence along Boynton,
Right, I can understand that.
within the 25-foot setback. 6-foot fence along my back line, which is along the culvert that used to be there, I guess now it's a buried culvert.
You're not allowed it on part of Beekman. Because the first 25.
You're talking about the triangle?
I don't, and correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but this part is in the front yard of Boynton, correct?
It is.
So for that 25 feet also, that's what I was asking about. I'm just asking, that's, I want to understand.
Yeah.
You're right about here, but this part, this first 25 feet
Correct.
is in the
I'm
front.
asking for the variance of the 25-foot setback along Boynton. So that
No,
would-
I understand.
That would include the east and the west side, because the west side would technically also be within the 25.
No, I know that, and so both of those, right?
Yeah, it's a 2 code sections he's looking at.
Those, right. The concern, okay, I just want to be clear what we're looking at. Okay, so,
So where that pen is indicating is approximately the 25-foot setback off of Boynton Avenue. So anything on the street side of that can't be higher than 6 feet.
right.
And then in that little corner area, it can't be higher than 30 inches.
You said 6 feet, is that 4 feet?
Can't be higher than 4 feet, yes.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, it doesn't seem to, it shows it, but it doesn't talk about where it's allowed and not allowed. It's allowed, the only place, it's allowed along the back, correct, Joe? The 100, for 125 feet of what I'll call the back, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And whatever amount there, so,
If you look at the screen with the 2 pens, if you were to draw a line straight across there, anything on the street side can't be higher than 4 feet. So that's the one section of variance, because he's looking for a fence 6 feet high in there. That could all be 4 feet high without a variance.
right. But I understand, I want to make sure what we're talking about for a variance. So, what we're talking about is 25 feet on this lower part, that part, and 25 feet there.
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay. The other concern, this whole traffic concern thing, obviously, we can't really let you put a 6-foot fence in the 30-foot triangle.
I'll gladly take that 1.5 foot dot triangle right there. I mean,
Right,
I'll cut 1.5 foot off that to keep
Right.
it 6 feet tall.
So there'd be a diagonal there. What about because there's a concern about vision, what about if we move that back a little bit, that triangle a little bit further? Let's say that right now that angle is where the 30-foot setback is. What if we went a little bit further each way, 5 feet or something? I know it's gonna cut off somebody, but you're gonna have landscaping outside the fence in your yard anyway. It might allay the fears of everybody about this 30-foot, you could say I'm way outside the 30-foot triangle. Is that a problem to you? I'm not trying to cut into your yard so much.
I'm not sure what it would accomplish. I have
Well,
I have 3 traffic lights.
What's that?
There's 3, well, there's a 4-way traffic light. There's another traffic light coming off of Beacon Towers. And I would argue that it's far more dangerous for the people coming up the hill than it is coming down. I mean, I can tell you that I've almost been hit 4 times.
Yeah.
Walking my dog down to Bailey Avenue and back,
I'm
coming
just,
around that property. With the grade, the way it is on Beekman, entering Boynton, it already drops lower. So even if I was to adhere to the 4-foot fence and not even need a variance, I think it would still prohibit visibility from people coming down the hill. So I don't really think, requesting the 6-foot is a huge deal. If you wanted me to say go in that little bit to maintain my 30-foot triangle, I'm okay with that. I don't know how much I would gain by pushing that 30 feet up further away from Beekman and coming down, other than I'd lose some space inside of my yard.
right. Open to the board, questions, concerns?
Joe, you said your hat was the other side of the 30-foot triangle, right?
Say that again?
His hat that he placed on
I
there?
placed it
It's right
at
there.
the corner of where I was proposing the 6-foot section.
My hard hat with you can see the weight right there,
Mhm.
that's about where the corner would be.
The 30-foot corner,
The corner where you're,
where my fencing is proposed.
yes. Now, you weren't proposing to angle that piece where you show that, right? No, you wanted to go at a right angle?
And if you tell me you want me to cut 1.5 off, I'll cut 1.5 off. But I need 1.5, I mean, that is to scale, so every square is 2.5 feet. Or,
It's probably
Yeah, 2.5
like
feet.
5 feet off. Right, is that to scale? Because
Yeah,
those
each square
sidewalks,
is 5 feet.
yeah, that's completely to scale.
it's probably a
The
good
big
3.5,
square is
4
10
feet each way. Because those sidewalk pieces are at least 4 by 5 or.
The sidewalk's not to scale. The blue squares are 10 feet,
How big are the blue squares?
10 feet.
The larger, the 4 by,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on your copy, you can see the smaller
Yeah.
individual squares.
and they're 5 feet.
Oh, I
Is
see
it
what
4
you
by
mean.
4?
Okay, gotcha.
They're 4, oh.
So
I
it's-
didn't
4 by
know.
4, so it's
No,
it's-
they're, yeah, they're 4 by 4.
So then it's actually 2.5 feet per individual square.
Yep.
So 10 feet for the larger blue squares. So you can see where I would think maybe it's 2.5 feet by 2.5 feet or so.
It's actually 5.
Is it?
Well, you show a 25-foot dimension to the front of your house,
Yes.
and assuming that you're straight across in line with your property line, then the 30-foot.
Yeah, the sidewalks are 5 by 5 squares, aren't they?
I don't know.
No, I'm talking about on here.
I don't have sidewalks in my neighborhood. We don't get sidewalks in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
We have to walk in the
The
street.
sidewalk on this is just for demonstration, it is not actually the scale.
No, I'm saying on his plan, they're 5 feet by 5 feet.
Yes, that's what he's showing.
So you might lose 3 or 4 feet on each side of the fence.
I think I just want to say that again, that the sidewalk is not to scale. The sidewalk is just the demonstration of where the sidewalk is. I would not use the sidewalk for any measurement purposes, I would only use
Well,
the
the
ground.
issue would be to stop at the 30-foot inside that, outside that 30-foot triangle, I guess, so.
I'll gladly cut that little bit off. I'll cut that little bit off, that's fine.
Right.
But I'd like to maintain a 6-foot fence as close as I can to the sidewalk, east-west, along the road.
So when you say cut it off, are you talking about putting a little diagonal in there?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll maintain the 30-foot,
Well, that's a question too, Joe. Is there any issue about, how close to the sidewalk?
you tell me, is it in law?
Well, you know what I'm saying, Joe? We don't want a fence right on the sidewalk.
I mean, I've seen at least a dozen new construction fences that are on the sidewalk.
The fence needs to be on his property.
What?
The fence needs to be on his property.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
But the fence needs to be 4 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But by code, the fence needs to be 4 feet, not 6 feet. So the minute he comes for a variance, then we can require other stuff in lieu of it.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about having a 6-foot fence that the pedestrian's walking right next to on a sidewalk.
For 100 and 25 feet.
Right.
I am too.
I mean, I'm not talking about moving back 5 feet or something, but I'm saying a foot or more, say a foot. In other words,
Fair.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? I just don't want you to be on this sidewalk with this fence right next to you.
And if you think I'm digging the fence post, it's not going to encroach on the sidewalk anyway, so I'm going to have a bit of a gap. I would assume a foot,
Right.
most likely.
So you're gonna have, but I'm talking about the actual outside of the fence, which is that the nice side of the fence, by the way? No, I'm not being
Yeah,
sarcastic.
no,
Okay,
Yeah.
but that's the out, the nice side is out, like that's the smooth, is it gonna, what kind of fence, do you know?
I'm looking at a wooden picket fence with more of a decorative top, something that has like a solar light on the posts. I don't want like the picket, and I don't want the dog ear.
Vinyl or wood, you think?
I can't afford the 40 grand for vinyl, so.
Yeah, I bet not.
So it's gonna be wood.
Okay.
And painted or stained, depending on what my wife would like.
Smart man. He said whatever color his wife wants.
Oh, to note, there is a small piece though, if you were to look at the graph paper diagram, the southern exposed portion of it behind my garage would be actually chain link.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's because I have gardens back there and I want to maintain the lake.
Do we have any correspondence other than from the city engineer and county?
No.
That also, you know, there's some utility poles that are on my property on the western side. I actually want to bring the fence inside of those so that municipal lighting still has full access via the easement that the city has down that. Because there's an easement where the culvert used to be, it's now a barrier, or it used to be. And then kind of angle back out, back to my property line behind my cedar trees that are on the western side behind my garage.
Did we mention that we had the police look into this as well? I know you talked about
Yes, you did.
correspondence from the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Please.
There's also a gate next to the house. I don't know if you see where the gate is. That's to provide access into the yard. If I ever need a tree down or something down to the house,
Right.
we won't have to tear down the fence.
Okay.
No, you haven't.
Did I open this, the audio? Anybody have any comments about this? Close the public hearing portion. Do I have any comments from the board? Do we have an idea what you think?
So the concern about the 6-foot fence isn't on either of these sides, it's just this side, correct?
No,
Right.
it's there, 25 feet is this side and this side. Here it's allowed. This 25 feet's not allowed because it's in the front yard setback. This is in the front yard set, on this street, is those two, and this part's not. So this is what we're talking about. Honestly, I mean, I don't have a big issue with it, and I can understand why you want privacy. It's a busy area.
You wouldn't believe
Totally
the number
get
of
it.
people that walk.
I mean-
Walk right past my patio to come. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people think it's public. You know, and the lights from Beacon Towers, you know, shine directly, or just in my patio essentially. So I'm sitting on the evening and just
Mhm.
blinded by headlights.
If you, I would think that we'd want to make a motion that would include being 1 foot, the outside of the fence being 1 foot from the sidewalk.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be mean about this, but if you could say 31 feet back, I just don't want anybody from engineering or anybody to ever say, you should never have given this guy this fence, nobody can see there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that no part of the fence would any part would be 1 foot, the outside of the fence would be 1 foot back from the 30-foot triangle.
30 foot on both sides and then create a
Yes.
new triangle, not 31 feet on Boynton and then 30 on Beacon. You want 31 feet, so it's still an equal triangle.
It has to be on those two, because that's what the triangle is 30 feet and 30 feet. Instead, I'm just gonna say 31 and 31.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
I mean, I don't know, I don't feel like a foot is very much.
My preference would be to say put that fence 5 feet from the sidewalk. And then that all goes away. I mean, he's got 150 feet of
No, that's-
distance. And, you know, that way you get more of a front yard, a little more green space on that whole surface.
Does that work for you?
Joe,
5
can
feet?
you go to the picture where we can see the street again?
Yep.
Also,
Is that
that way,
okay?
also
Because
that way you'd have a
Not
square.
only that, now you reduce the variance to 20 feet on the two end parts.
Yeah.
Not that that's a
No,
big
no,
deal.
yeah, here.
But, and you know what, in the way it's rated, it makes it a little, I mean, there's snow, there's, you know, it's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're right, and now it's a square corner, it's not a Dutched off corner. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
And, you know, it's not like it's a fence that's only 20 feet long where people can kind of say, okay, if there are three,
It's
you
long,
walk in,
you're
you
right,
go
it is
two, or
long.
one single file. You know, they've got enough room to hang over on green
You
space.
put a lot of landscape that'll die from the salt, you know? No.
Yeah, you mean the salt.
Um,
The salt.
Maybe we could transfer this.
Yeah,
Whatever. No, they
Can that
hang
work
over,
for you?
the Petals hang over.
okay,
It's just over.
Yeah.
So,
Still counts.
I'm gonna try this
No,
one.
okay.
How does that sound?
No, first, we can't do it yet.
Oh, we gotta do
We
the,
gotta
Is
do-
that,
we gotta
a
see it.
quick question, is that tree still existing?
Yeah.
But you-
It is, okay, I just see it in here.
Yeah,
I've got this one.
It's not
Okay.
correct on the
5
diagram.
feet from the
Okay.
sidewalk,
It's,
But let's do
So
the
is setting
secret.
it 5 foot back gonna
You can
interfere
do
with
the
that tree?
secret motion, too.
right?
Okay,
No, because saying
Joe,
5
would you-
foot back is probably right about where that red line is.
Yeah. I would-
yeah, yeah, Joe, could you take a look at the picture that had the two bicyclists? And I think maybe that would give us a good perspective on the distance from the sidewalk. Yeah, it's far more than 5 feet,
Okay.
it's probably about 20.
Yeah, 5 feet is just about the center line of that pole
Yeah,
from the sidewalk.
okay. We're
just
okay with
enough
that?
for 2 passes.
I want to do the seeker. I've examined the seeker. The most important question, number 2, is filled out properly. Does anybody, it's a fence, so it doesn't have any environmental impact basically at all. Does anybody have any questions about the seeker, or do I have a motion regarding the chair being allowed to fill out those? The chair being, no, but anyway, to answer no or small impact, and sign, saying that there's no small impact.
I'll make a motion for the chair to sign no or small impact to the 11 questions on the seeker, in addition to check the box,
Mm-hmm.
based on the proposed, that the proposed action will not.
Seconded by,
You gotta let her
Sorry.
finish.
huh?
Let her
I was
finish.
struggling
Oh,
here
sorry.
to find the right
I'm
statement.
sorry. I thought
Go
you
ahead,
was done.
Katie.
I'm
To
sorry.
check the box, I'm not sure what I say after that.
Yeah, and the
Second.
proposed
Based on the
action.
information analysis above. Yes,
Just read that whole thing.
okay. To check the box, if we've determined based on the information analysis above, any supporting documentation that the proposed action may result in one or more potentially large or significant adverse
No,
impacts.
no, wrong one.
Second box.
Second one.
To check the box, if we've determined based on the information, any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. Sorry.
Okay. Seconded by Kelly. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now,
That's fun. That was fun.
now I'm looking for a motion regarding Jared LaValle, 161 Beekman Street, Class B variance.
Okay, I'll try this too.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion for appeal number 2117, Brent Favreau.
No,
Or,
no.
I'm sorry, Jared.
2118.
2118, Jared LaValle, 161 Beekman Street, applying for a Class B variance for the request of a 6-foot fence along Boynton Avenue corner lot for the fence to come 5 feet from the sidewalk on the Boynton Avenue side. And 25 feet from the Beekman Street street, and right along the property line of the neighbor. office on, correct?
It's
On
31 by
the- that
31
would be the west side.
west.
I'm within that 31 if I push it back 5 feet.
Oh, that's right.
Is that
And I'm
it?
actually
Should
gonna come in slightly on my western side to
Say you have to be
give
outside.
municipal lighting easier access to the pole.
to be outside the 30-foot triangle. Okay.
Seconded by,
I'll second it.
To approve?
To approve.
you guys want, I already got 3. And you're approved 5-0, 5 feet away, 6 feet the whole way. Thank you very much for the building permit,
Thank you.
and off you go. Thank you for your time.
That's nothing.
And Brown and Davis. We're getting closer, people. This is like the old days. Shouldn't have let Methodist Church go so long, that's all. Would have been good. How you doing?
Good.
Couple things I'll just tell you. This is a use variance, so as you know, you've been through this. It's more strict than area variances. You did present quite a bit of financial information. The one thing I'll tell you about the financial information that's a little inaccurate, although it's not used on the tax returns, is that the accountant's analysis of the cash flow took into account the mortgage. You can't do that. You know, because it's okay, it's paying principal, no, but you still lose money even without that. You know, but I mean, I know it's not funny, but, no, but anyway, we can't count the mortgage because the mortgage is paying off principal. In other words, you're eventually, you know, so we never count mortgages. But you do have quite a bit of, I thought, what you needed for, financial stuff. There was some question at one point downstairs, but you answered that you've had it with facet. How long have you had it with facets?
Oh, probably 3 years.
3 years. When did you stop? Is that about 3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years. We had it for a lease, or buy it at that time.
Right. And when did we give you that? How long were you there?
We were running for, probably open for 3 years. And,
Yeah.
about a 6-month prep time.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it just what,
Yeah.
people, I'm just curious, people just didn't, that
Oh,
wasn't,
yeah, the city decided that it didn't want that there. Yeah, it just, there's not enough, it was too small for a kennel. You could not function with, it was limited to 30 dogs, by the variance that I got, and that amount of dogs, doesn't pay the
Right.
bills.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Yeah, I
that
understand.
much. It just averaged out to be like 15 to 20 for 3 years, and we got the hint.
right,
It was kind of a bad idea.
yeah, okay. I mean, I was just curious. So it's been vacant and they've listed it, and have they shown it a lot?
Yeah, fair, you know, I don't.
I mean, it's an odd location, right?
Yeah,
It's an odd little building.
Yeah, and you need tenants, yeah, it's either gonna become apartments and
Right.
do that route, or find a business that can use it as a.
You know, there are 4 questions that are asked as part of a use variance, and they have to do with impact on the neighborhood and so on. Whether or not it's self-created, I wouldn't say it's I mean, having a business and it not working is not necessarily, and not being able to rent the property is not necessarily, times change and so on. So I don't, I mean, yes, you have a variance for the building right now. You have a use variance now to right? That was a use variance, was it? Or was that a special use permit? You remember, Jim?
For what?
His-
Pet lodge?
That was a use
It was
variance.
a use variance.
Right. So we've been through this, and the buildings had a lot of commercial uses, so that's not really the issue. I mean, I'm gonna open to the board, there's some questions about more, I don't think that you have much of an issue with the financials. I mean, you show pretty much that it's been, you're not getting any return, you're losing money every year. And I don't know what the reasonable return is. I assume that the rent's gonna be pretty reasonable just to rent it. So I'm gonna open it to the board because there's some concerns about, and questions about the business itself and how it's gonna operate, so.
Well, I guess, you're the one who's operating the business.
I am.
Exactly what,
So the plan for the building, and Aaron, is your sketch with them?
No, Tom had it.
Oh,
The original site plan.
Okay, cool. So what I want to do to the building is, the interior layout of this building is a full tunnel for drive-in storage down this whole side. And then the other side right now is closed up, which Mr. Brown had used for the doggy daycare area where the dogs were running around. Pretty much what I'd like to do is, and it is in the site plan, is gut the inside on the left side of the building, put in 2 drive-in bay doors, use the long shop that is currently there for my Snap-on business. And I've operated my Snap-on franchise group, which is 3 franchises that make up, we serve everything from Potsdam to Ticonderoga. And we've been operating out of my home without any issues, which is commercial residentially zoned in the town of Plattsburgh for 7 years now. Not one complaint from anyone. The guys show up at 7:30 in the morning, they go through some light paperwork, and then they leave in their trucks to service their technicians at all of their stops throughout the day, which is what Snap-on tool dealers do. And then they'll arrive back at the shop at approximately 6 o'clock at night, close their books, and the shop will get locked up, and the trucks will just sit in there and it will hold the inventory. So there'll be no customers coming in and out of the building, 5 staff members daily, they will only be there twice a day for a half an hour. The second shop, when we do get around to, if it was granted that we could do this, would just be my own residential storage. A couple extra cars, a small boat in the wintertime, not rented, not used, sticking really truly to the residential zoning that the building has. The third warehouse I would like to rent out for drive-in, dry storage to one person. Again, no real tenants coming and going on a regular basis, just kind of like a large dry warehouse room where someone could store maybe a couple boats or a group of friends or, some cars. But no maintenance done in the building, all dry storage, no toxic chemicals, nothing like that. Probably one of the least invasive uses the building has ever had, from talking to some of the people about the uses the building has had over decades. I plan, if you guys can allow me to do that, obviously with a building permit, when we move a little further along, I would re-stucco the whole building, repaint it, really clean it up, and probably the quietest operation that's ever been back there. And so we're just looking for dry storage space to hold a couple Snap-on trucks and trailers locked up at night and hold the inventory. One personal bay for me, like for residential storage usage, and then one small rent holding warehouse to offset our rent, for Snap-on. And
Are you buying the building or renting
it
it?
is a lease with a purchase option.
deliveries of material?
We get stock orders twice a week from Snap-on. Like I said, they've been coming to my house without problems for 7 years now. It's maybe 10 to 20 boxes twice a week. They'd come up, drop them in front of that door. The exact same day, they would be stocked into the building, secured and locked up.
Is it tractor trailers or?
No, they're box vans, 20 foot. I mean, I would venture to say probably someone's seen them driving around town. They're white trucks. They look kind of like Frito-Lay.
No, but I mean delivery truck.
The material that gets delivered to you.
Oh, UPS, general UPS delivery, is no different than Amazon. We do occasionally have a full-size semi drop off larger tool storage, but I mean, they're in and out. They've been doing that also at my residence right on State Route 9 in the town of Plattsburgh for 7 years with no complaints or problems.
Yeah, we just don't, that's one of the concerns, is we don't know how you get a tractor trailer in there.
They could stop on 9 with an emergency light up for 5 minutes, unload it, and we could push it across the driveway. That's what we do in a lot of cases now.
And
How often do you
That's
think-
what we have an issue with, or at least I do.
Sure.
Because Route 9 there is basically 2 cars wide.
Yep, I agree, it is.
And at least looking at the plan, you can't.
Is there any way
turn
to
around
not
and
get tractor trailers there?
No.
Like you have to have, I mean,
Yeah, it's the only way to deliver them.
Yeah.
and how often is that?
Large toolboxes like that, anytime we can, deliver them direct to a customer on an order, we completely skip the process of bringing them to us because of damage, obviously, we try to have the least damage possible. But if you get a really big sale and Snap-on requires us to buy, 3 or 4 pieces of product to get a good, discount to provide to the customers along the line and move a little bit more volume, it's pretty unavoidable. There's no other way to ship a 3,000-pound, 144-inch wide toolbox. It's the size of some trucks.
And that's a couple times a week?
No, boxes like that would maybe be once every few months. The twice a week deliveries are UPS trucks, no different than what delivers stuff to your house every day.
Is the driveway from Route 9, it's not part of the lot that you own, Dr. Brown, right?
No, that's common, I think.
It's an easement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has an easement.
So that, the
It's
owner
shared
of the
with
driveway,
the apartments in the front.
the apartments in the front own the property, right?
Correct.
And just out of curiosity, I mean, the easement is, I mean, it permits commercial ingress and egress. I mean, it's not limited to any kind of, small car or anything like that. I mean, it would,
Not that I'm aware of. No, he has right to it too behind us.
Yeah, 5391 Peru. I talked to him a little bit when I was over there one day checking it out.
Well,
Where?
5391,
Yeah, they
Oh,
also use the
5391,
driveway.
okay.
It's a combined use for the apartment building at 5379, 5391, and, what's the number? The building we're talking about, yeah.
say that again.
And the building we're talking, they all share that same driveway open use.
So do you have any alternatives to having that, who do you use, Penn, for the bigger shipments?
Yeah, they're contracted corporately through Snap-on, it's not a. I
But
don't
do you have
an
any
option.
options as far as like, you said that you've been getting your deliveries at your house for 7 years. Is there any way of having those larger deliveries done at your house still to avoid the jam up?
I'm actually moving out of the home that I'm in now, which is one of the reasons why I'm in search, on top of just, I bought my first franchise in 2011, and since then we've almost gone 5 times bigger than that, and just got a sheer velocity of, moving inventory and having the trucks. Right now, I'm renting two bay storage facilities from Lucinda's. We have a full-size garage in my house full of tools, 2 full-size trailers that are filled with inventory on top of the 3 trucks. And just having it all in one place where the guys can grab it without running around, plus we're paying a little rent there, and a little rent here, and all that up, the efficiency is awful for the business. And I mean, from what I've heard, you guys have had tractor trailer trucks, repair shops in that building. Throughout time, I realize, and zoning obviously comes into effect. But some of the uses on that building have near been toxic to the area, and we're talking about virtually using this as dry storage. It's been at my personal residence for years now, with no obstructions to any problems. If a big semi does come and drop something out there, they're minutes. I mean, this is not a big deal where they take 3 hours to unload a product. They have a system and it's off. They've got another 30 to deliver in the same day. They really don't hold up traffic that badly, if at all. And we can modify the times they deliver too, which to your concern, I do realize how narrow that is. But if I had a truck delivering a product at 5:30 in the morning, there wouldn't be very much traffic there. And I could.
How do you
That's
offload?
possible?
What?
How do you offload those pallets?
Do they offload them?
Yes, they
Or they have they have a regular?
Yeah, we require them to have power lift gates to put them on the ground.
And then once it's on the ground, how you get it
They're
in
all-
the building? Oh.
They're on wheels.
Oh, you just roll the thing
They're
itself?
toolboxes, they're on wheels.
So you just roll them down the driveway or
You
whatever?
got it.
Do you think this happens 6 times a year?
The big boxes?
Yeah.
Probably that much. It's really pretty minimal.
I mean, I would dare say that if you can get big boxes to offload at 5:30 in the morning on Route 9, 6 times a year.
Or late at night, which
Or
might be
whatever,
easier on
but
semi.
I don't have
After
a-
6 o'clock.
If it's 6 times a year and it's off hours, I don't really have a big problem. If it was every week, then we'd have a problem.
I mean,
But I
most
don't
of
have
the
a
big
real problem.
boxes are special order for customers. I mean, these are expensive tool storage items, An 84-inch wide Snap-on toolbox is $16,000. Most of the time, they're custom ordered. And if they're custom ordered, they get direct ship to the customer on a pallet. They don't even come our way. If I can prefer to not handle a toolbox that big, that's definitely our preference, because the chance of damaging it when you move it around that much gets inclined very quickly. Don't want that. The small ones, I mean, are delivered again in small UPS trucks, or New Pen, I believe, is the big company that does a lot of the toolboxes. But even some of their shorter semis, they could pull in there and loop easily in that back area, the small ones. The full-size ones, I will agree with you, that would be tight, but we are talking about a very, very limited amount of times a year, 6 at maximum, I would say.
Anybody in the audience have any comments regarding this? Close that public hearing portion. I'd like to go through, it is a use variance, and there are the 4 questions, which are here, and they are answered not with just a simple yes or no, I believe enough. You must prove a lack of reasonable return. Please provide competent financial evidence proves a lack of reasonable return. The answer is this location has been for sale / lease for 3 years with no interest. I think also you've submitted tax return showing what it's been like, and it's an odd little property. Please demonstrate why your hardship is unique to your property and does not apply to a substantial portion. The location has been a business location for several decades within a residential setting, requiring the unique tenant to fit the location and use. And I think I renovated it for Blair and Weber, years ago, and it's always been this funny little building, and it's his back, and it's not, unless you're going to find the right exact business for it. It's an odd fit, and it's really not a very good customer-oriented location. It's not a place to get customers to come back to. So I would say it is.
I would go out and say on a limb, in a rare circumstance, I may let a customer come by appointment to view a large section of toolbox inventory if they were highly interested in a box or something.
But it's not. You're not really.
No, and we're not selling out of the building at all. We do all of our service and sales at the technician's place of business. That's the whole point of it, is service,
Yeah, that's how Snap-on works, right? You just go on.
We got a list of calls, we go to the same customers every week.
Please show that the granting of this use variance will not change the essential character of the neighborhood. Building is essentially a warehouse with a large parking lot and green space next to it. An iron reserve, an electric substation on 2 sides, and apartments on 2 sides. Same use as the last few decades. And please demonstrate why the alleged hardship has not been self-created. Probably listed well under a purchase price of $245,000. The current contract is $195,000. We've had the space listed, set realty, nonstop in search of tenant or previous business lost in excess of $10,000 per year for 3 years before closing. And the property itself just didn't make money. And so you're selling it for less than you bought it for. I have to say that I really think you've got a well-presented financial. It's certainly, I would think that if I lived in the apartments up front, I'd rather have this than the constant customers with the doggy daycare as an example.
We have a 10-building apartment. I live on 4621 US 9 right now. And OTC Properties has like a 12-unit apartment building right next to me, and I have a single-family home next to me with a husband and wife. No complaints at any point ever. We're really a quiet show.
Yeah. Any questions? No. Let's do the seeker. Now, this is the long form seeker, and based on the previous information, let's see, this is wrong. Government approvals, zoning, yes to, this is part B. It is a yes for city, council, or village zoning board of appeals. That's us, the ZBA. And yes, building, this is gonna need approval from your office too, isn't it?
What's that?
is this gonna need approval from your office? It's gonna need a building permit, right?
Not currently. It's move-in ready for Snap-on as is, and I would like to get a little further down the road before I
Okay.
submit a building plan and put the other 2 warehouses in it.
So all it needs right now for him to move in is a use variance approval?
Yes.
Okay. So that has to be changed.
And just wanted to make sure there was note about wanting to go into future warehouses, because the usage doesn't work for me without them.
Do people see anything?
Oh, other stuff?
What's that?
You're talking about the rest of the?
Yeah, seeker, I'm just, I just started looking through. I'd like to go down through it, but I mean,
Is there an answer right here?
yeah. No, it is not allowed by a special use permit. The zoning change is not requested as part of the action, though, so that's no also.
Which one, Ron?
C3.
C.
Three. Oh, C3.
C3B and
Yeah.
C.
Thank you.
And C3, C, no?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say D1 is a business use different than present variance under D1A, okay? Because that variance is still there, and that's really what the change is. It's less than an acre, isn't it?
Very close.
Yeah.
Is it an acre, or more or
I
less?
think it's more than an acre, maybe.
What is it?
Well, around the acre, I guess. No, not quite.
I'm just gonna say 1 acre. 0 physical.
Yeah, no, it's solid.
C is
That's the truth.
under D1.
Just this week, someone said that, yeah.
I can't see what they checked it. Well, it's no on F, whatever they put, I don't know. No, yeah, no on G.
No on F? Yep.
Correct.
Right.
The total is less than 300 gallons a day for the water usage on C. Oh, I'm sorry, create a new demand for water, no, never mind, then we'll leave that. Because you're just saying bathrooms and,
Yeah, whatever construction made,
Mhm.
you know, will be given a plan.
Do you compare traffic to?
hours of operation are okay, 8 to 4 and 8 to 5. We are probably gonna stipulate something about, in the motion about, tractor trailer deliveries.
Just full-size ones, please.
Yeah, just full size. We
Yeah,
don't care about
full-size tractors.
the other ones can drive in and out, we don't care about them.
I mean, we care, but they aren't an issue.
I understand.
No, but I mean, they don't,
I care about getting
I'll
the
do my
toolbox
best to have those direct ship and not have to deal with the
approved for a
operators.
toolbox.
Um,
If granted a variance, will it carry with me through my purchase, or will I be back here? when-
No, the variance will carry with the property.
Okay, I didn't know.
And your specific business.
Yes, okay.
So even if you purchase it and another business, you want to put another business in there, you have to come back.
Yes, I understand. But if I
Just
purchase
like-
it and keep my current use, no problem.
Oh, yeah, right.
Awesome.
Is the school, I don't know how far you got, but I'm on page 10 at the top. I didn't ask me, but.
What number?
C and D?
10 what?
E1, the top,
C
schools.
is no.
Schools within 1,500 feet? I
No.
just didn't know if the middle school was.
Yes.
Oh, I can't-
Oh, middle school, yeah.
Middle school's right across
Across the river.
Hmm?
Middle school.
Stafford
Yeah.
Middle School.
Forgot about that one.
Is that within,
I think so.
Yeah, you could hit a,
Yeah.
probably a 3-wood across and hit it.
okay, middle school?
Does Department of Social Services count for that category question too? Disabled elderly children?
Huh?
Does DSS count for that question?
I don't know. Where are they?
Right on Durkee, right down there, across the bridge, closer than middle school.
Do you think that's 1,500
That'd be
feet?
1,500
I was
feet.
about to say. But it's definitely within 1,500.
Yeah, that's probably the.
Now,
Facility
I
that
think
serves
it's
all
the
those
intent
people.
is middle school.
Well.
Whatever.
Okay, we'll change that one. I'm gonna give you this, Denise.
No, I got C and D.
Any other changes on the seeker?
I don't see anything else.
This one is not where I check off, this is where somebody moves to refine the adverse environmental impact.
I'll move that after review of the full environmental assessment form that we determine that the proposed action does not create an adverse environmental impact.
Seconded by Keller. All in favor? All right, okay.
Can we add one more thing on here?
Sure.
On the last page, H is a project site within 5 miles of any officially designated publicly
I'm
accessible.
sorry, what was it?
Scenic Lake Champlain.
Right.
Isn't that?
Yeah, Lake Champlain. Yes, H.
Yep.
Got it, Scott.
Okay. Now, does anybody have any other questions or comments? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I have a question. If he wants to turn part of it into warehouse and rent it out, does he have to come back?
No.
Okay.
He already said he's Snap-on and dry storage warehouse, we're renting it for that.
Okay.
Right, in other words, that's part of what his business plan is presented to us.
Well, the dry storage rental will be separate from Snap-on, that will be rented to,
Yeah, but you're gonna be
Same
running
kind.
that.
Yes, I will always be there.
So that's part of his business, would be Snap-on and storage, right? Warehousing.
You got it.
I'll move that for appeal number 2119, applicant Brown Davis Land Holding, that we grant the use variance for, to permit Snap-on Tools to rent the location as a warehouse and tool storage, or to use it as a warehouse and tool storage and residential storage as well.
Right.
I'll second.
Seconded by,
So we want to limit the full-size tractor deliveries as
Oh,
well, as part of that?
say it again?
We want to limit the full-size tractor trailer deliveries to
Oh,
early
yes.
morning, specifically
Yes. You want to also limit full-size tractor trailer deliveries to
early morning.
before 6 AM or after?
No, I wouldn't go that early because you're gonna have them rolling down the
Huh?
drive. You're gonna have them rolling a toolbox down the driveway with neighbors right there.
What time?
Well, if you're saying before 6.
I would agree.
You wanna say
Yeah,
7?
Maybe like around 7.
Yeah, I would
I
say,
could say before 7:30 and
Yeah.
nothing until after 6 o'clock at night.
yeah,
That good?
yeah.
I'm cool.
How about before 7 and nothing till after 7, because then that's really when the commuting traffic's done.
True.
7 to 7 is no-go. Okay.
All right, you wanna add that to
I'm
it?
all right with that.
Yep.
Got it.
Can I
I don't
avoid
know,
that?
I don't know that I wanna add that,
What's that?
because I'm not 100% sure that
We can do
we
that?
can make that kind of a restriction.
My feeling is, I know you have new pen deliveries and I have new pen deliveries too for my business, and they are
They're good.
really fast.
Yeah,
And my feeling is if he's doing it 6 times a year for 5 minutes,
doesn't matter the
Well,
time.
yeah.
they're quick at my place because we have a loading dock, but when you have
I
a
don't-
lift gate, they're slower.
I mean, this is almost no different than a loading dock. It rolls straight across concrete. There's no lift, there's no,
Yeah.
you know.
You don't think?
So you're gonna be at the
I'm
store
not sure.
during
I thought I was
business hours?
researching that.
In and out a little bit. I mean, I'm the manager. Some days I'm out on the road with them. I do office work there. But yeah, through the majority of business hours, I will be in the building while the rest of the team is out, servicing some. And one day, like I said, is just my own personal storage, no different than a big garage at my house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Here's invitation.
I think you can stipulate those hours. It'd be tough to police, but if we got complaints that they were
yeah, I
working
think that
outside
that's
of those
more that,
parameters.
that if we get complaints, then we have a little something to go back to them on. What's the worst that can happen? If we are allowed to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's FedEx and UPS, 95%.
I mean, I'll amend my motion, but I'm definitely gonna.
Do you want to leave it or not?
No, I'll amend it to include that. I didn't hear all the
Before
discussion
7 and
between
nothing
7
delivered after 7? Or nothing?
So
and
no,
Between
Before
7 and
7.
between 7 AM and 7 PM there, is that what we said?
Limit.
No,
yeah,
no,
limit.
no
It's not
full-size.
full-size
No
truck.
full-size semi, 7-7.
Yeah.
Can I exclude
Yeah,
Saturdays
that's
by
what
chance?
we make those.
As traffic would be reduced.
Those stipulations on.
Could I have
I would
open
think so.
hours on the
About
weekend?
business times.
Yeah,
Do you think we can?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, so,
Anytime we give them open hours on the weekend?
For those deliveries?
Yeah, sure.
what's that?
To me, I'm concerned more about how much traffic is normally going up and down that road. I don't think that changes too much on there.
Well,
It's so residential around there. I mean, there's a lot of residences and rec center and
No.
all the
Fair
breweries.
enough. If you're getting a dishwasher delivered, it's the exact same thing, it's the same size truck that's dropping it off. A fridge, freezer.
A full-size tractor trailer?
I
Sometimes-
just had Lowe's deliver a fridge to my house, a full-size
Oh my
tractor a couple
gosh.
months ago.
Lowe's?
But that's a one-time thing. It's not,
Yeah.
Just everyone's got
Well,
a
we
fridge
want to
in their
limit
house.
it, I just want to know, do we change the?
Yeah, I amended it.
We should
That-
change the
that's-
motion, seconded by
I'll second.
Katie this time, okay. So yes vote is to approve the use variance with,
So what's the end of the motion, Ron?
what she said, plus no tractor trailers between 7 and 7.
7 AM to 7 PM.
Hmm?
7 AM to
7
7
To
p.m.
7
Because
PM.
it could be the other, could be totally
Go.
different. Yeah.
And who seconded?
I did.
You're all set. Thank you very much for your patience.
5-0, Rob?
Yes,
5-0?
yes.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Hey, Joan, come on up.
Thank you.
Sorry to make you wait so long. And Aaron, unfortunately, you're last. Hey,
that's what you get for coming late.
and no, actually, we got one other one we haven't done. Okay. I remember you came and we gave you a variance,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And then you didn't build it.
I had two parents in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I just was traveling down there
Yeah.
so much that I just couldn't get it together.
Right, and now you want to do it differently.
Only a little bit differently. And-
Right,
and the
well, you
little-
want to get rid of the part in the front, right?
Right,
Right,
the part that you didn't like.
right.
Gone. The part that Joe told me right away, he said, this is gonna be really expensive, and by God, he was right. And, I'm happy to say that I have spoken with Mark Hall down in Essex about being an architect for me.
So-
And he's agreed to take this on.
Joe, just tell me what the manner of deviation is.
Sure.
No, he's gonna tell me.
Oh, okay.
Joe, not Joan. Close though. No, I want him to tell me because then he says exactly what we're looking at. Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get the diagram up.
Okay.
So the manner of deviation is, it's too close to the rear property line. The setback, the rear yard setback in that district is 30 feet, and she's proposing to be as close as 23 feet to that line. She's extending it along the side property line, which would be 8 feet, but there's a deeded deficiency based on the width of her lot. Her lot is 60 feet wide. It's required in that district to be 75, so she can reduce the side yard setback in proportion, which makes that.
So the only deficiency is the 23 feet instead of 25 to the property line?
23 feet, yes, I should note that I just mentioned to Ms. Jansen prior to the meeting that when I was doing my calculations today, hers come out on the coverage just under 25%, mine come out just over. So I show her as being, with this addition, being at 25.2%.
So about 0.2% over. Okay.
0.2%, yes. And I think that's she's got a,
Does anyone have any questions?
she's got a
about this?
4x4 covered porch on the side.
Okay. Do you have any comments? Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this?
No.
Okay.
I just think that it's
We approved this before and she approved it.
Yeah.
Okay? And so we're looking at a variance for a 2-foot deficiency in the rear yard setback and a 0.2% overage in coverage.
It's actually 7 feet in the rear.
Huh?
It's a 7 foot.
Oh, 7 foot, I'm sorry.
It's supposed to be 30
It's
feet.
supposed to be 30 feet, 7 foot in the back. Okay, I'd like to look at this short environmental assessment form and see if anybody has any questions about it. Number 2, you did wrong. Sorry. It's the ZBA and the permit. But that's okay, almost everybody gets that one.
I'm sorry, I tried to fill this out to the best of my ability.
Yeah, no, you did fine. Okay, does anybody have any comments? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I gotta say, she's creative on her answers.
Yeah.
Is
No, I'm
it
talking about the seeker.
Self-created, well, if aging is self-creating.
Yeah. What about the seeker, though? Does anybody have any comments on the seeker? If not, I'm looking for a motion regarding questions 1 through 11.
I'll make a motion in regards to the short environmental assessment form on 29 Cogan Ave, that after review of part 1, that the answers in part 2 to questions 1 through 11 be checked, no or small impact may occur. And as a result of that, the chairman may check the box that we've determined based on the information and analysis above, and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on this? Comments? Or motion?
I'll do the motion. For Appeal 2120, Joan Jansen, 29 Cogan, to approve the Class B variance request for addition on house, an attached garage that protrudes into side and rear yard setback. What am I forgetting?
Oh, just
0.2%.
rear setback.
And
And-
coverage.
Into just rear setback
Yes.
and coverage.
And 0.2%.
coverage.
0.2% coverage.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Scott? The yes vote is to approve. Is it 2020? 2120?
That's
I
even
was
better
gonna say
than
it's
2020.
2017. I was thinking,
I can envision
forget it as you.
2020.
That's about as quick as we can approve something.
I think that's the quickest
And I am
since I've
not
been
kidding.
here.
That may be the quickest variance I've ever approved in my life.
That was pretty sweet.
Well,
No, you're all set?
I don't know whether to serve you coffee or margaritas.
You're all set? You're all set. Thank you very much for being so patient and sitting through this long meeting.
Well, many thanks to all of you.
All right.
Thank you.
For the work that you do, because I couldn't do this every month. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you did great. Aaron, come on up.
They get rewarded handsomely for
I was all set to have you go first, but you weren't here at the beginning of the meeting. No, I
I
wasn't.
was told to come at 8.
No, you were fine. You weren't going first tomorrow. Scott O'Brien is, Aaron will be appearing for him as his engineer, who wrote the letter, etc. In a nutshell, the applicant wants to add an addition on the back of the property at Skyway that is 18 feet by 50 feet, leaves 7 feet to the property line. And on the other side is the DOT or something. Who? One of them, right? DOT.
So you can see basically on the back side of the plot of, it used to be O'Brien Video back in the early 90s. Currently it houses the Council for Independent Living. So directly behind us to the north is the DOT storage yard on Sharon Avenue. So that's probably a 8-acre site, which is their storage yard, salt storage, whatever else.
That's not fire access or anything, right?
No. The way it was set up, it actually, that was the green space for that side on the east side. The original site plan from '93 actually showed that we could extend the building towards the ice rink on that side instead of going back. The reason why we chose to go on the rear is right now, inside that space, along that west wall of 3 offices, where when it was O'Brien Video and Dan Warfare Credit Union, we have hallways that actually used to go to the outside wall. So we can basically easily put a hallway in the new addition and add offices, and not have to really do anything to the existing building to add the space. So it's a very simple addition. We don't have to renovate all the existing offices to make it work. The issue obviously is zoning requires a setback in the rear yard of 15 or 0.
Right.
So it's in between. And then also talking with Joe, as you can see in the picture, it's actually gravel yard right now. It's all gravel, there's really nothing there. Theoretically, that's part of the green space. So the existing lot is actually, I think, slightly deficient already, because I think the original plan of parking along Sharon Avenue, the asphalt has come forward. The property line's not far off from that red line. So before, there was some green space in the front, but I think it's right around 14% now. So the little 900-foot addition will bring it down to about 12%.
What's on the other side on is that gravel too on the other side of the property line?
On the north side?
Yeah.
Where the DOT is? Yeah, there's a little strip of gravel, and then they have their 2 storage buildings, and they have all their.
But I'm saying, if somebody wanted to drive around this building, not necessarily on this property, would they be able, is there gravel on the, adjacent to this property line?
On the neighboring property?
Yeah.
There's a fence too.
Huh?
It's grass on the
It's
DOT
grass.
side.
Is it grass or is it gravel? It's actually grass.
It's pretty poorly maintained grass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
By DOT.
gravel, grass growing through it, how's that?
Right, but, okay, my question only is because the 7 feet wouldn't allow a vehicle necessarily to go by.
Right.
Is that a concern? Do they need to get
No, it's
buildings?
really not concerned, obviously, the one as right now is the O'Briens also own the plaza immediately adjacent,
Mhm.
so there's always the ability there. There's actually a power line that runs down that property line, so there'll never be another building along that east side right there. Let's see the poles.
Anybody have any questions about this?
So if you went out to 25 feet, you wouldn't need a variance?
I would still be deficient actually in the
Coverage?
green space.
Green space.
Building coverage, I'm fine, it's green space.
Okay.
But, right, if we went out right to the property line, I actually would not need a variance. So if I made it bigger, I wouldn't need the setback variance, but I'd need a bigger green
Right.
space reduction.
Is this the
figure.
exact size you want?
Actually, you originally wanted smaller, but we pushed it to 18. The reason for that was by the time we do a 5-foot hallway, and then build a 12-foot office at 17, and then wall thickness does basically brings us to that.
Okay.
He was willing to go smaller, but I said, we're gonna ask for it, oh yeah, so it really works. And again, it's for the council, and
Is it?
it can be acceptable.
Anybody have any questions about this?
Do we have a letter
Yep.
authorizing?
He just gave it to me.
Was that the county, just said local?
That's all that matters,
Yes.
right?
It's in the file.
Want to talk about the seeker, everyone? Did you fill this out? Your office? Yeah, that's fine, that's good.
Right or wrong.
If it's correct, yes.
I'll make a motion in regards to the short environmental assessment form. Were we supposed to open up to a public hearing?
Public hearing?
There's no public.
Okay,
Okay, I closed the public hearing.
all right. I'll make a motion in regards to the short environmental assessment form for Scott O'Brien at 80 Sharon Ave, after review of part 1, that in part 2, for questions 1 through 11, no or small impact may occur, and as a result of that, we've determined the significance, and the chairman may check the box that, based on the information analysis above and any supporting documentation, that the proposed action will not result in any significant adverse environmental impact.
Seconded by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion on the request variance to construct it as per plan.
I'll make that motion that on appeal number 2121, applicant Scott O'Brien for 80 Sharon Avenue, that the addition of an 18 by 50 foot structure to the north wall of the existing building be approved per the plans attached to the application.
Seconded by Kate.
Second.
Should we read in the exact variances? Because we have a
Rear yard setback.
rear yard setback
And
and,
also green space, reduction in green space by 2%.
okay. And we're deficient by how much?
We are, right, so the existing is approximately 14% open, and with the benefit for addition, we're down to 12.
Okay.
So it's really, the footprint of the addition is
So we-
efficiency will make it 900 square feet.
So a reduction of open space from 14% to 12%?
12.
12.
Or 12, yeah.
And what else did I?
Rear yard
The
setback.
rear yard setback, he has 7 feet, and it's required to be
Okay, and from a-
25 or 0.
And
12
is-
is it?
I'm sorry, so what do you want? for
And is
rear-
Oh,
7
12 is a requirement?
12
Okay.
or 0.
12 or 0, so we're.
7 foot
Yeah.
rear yard setback
Yep.
approved?
Rear yard setback to be 7 feet?
7 feet.
Okay. Period?
Space,
Yes.
Period?
open space, rear yard setback, is that it?
Yes.
We have a second?
You guys don't even have to do anything, I already got 3.
We have to resubmit.
You did.
You got a second?
Yep.
I love saying that. Just a second, we'll make it 5-0, just like, you got 4 yeses, you're going to
What is it?
Holly, wherever they go. I don't even know where they go.
Vegas.
All right, you're all set, 5 yeses, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Aaron. These go, we got one more. Brent Favreau, replace front porch with roof. I need to know what this exactly is, and we're gonna let his speak for itself.
Yes, please let the record reflect that I saw the applicant at about 6:45 earlier in the rotunda, and he asked me if he had to be present for this application because he had a medical issue come up, and he requested that this be heard without him being present.
So, can you just, his issue is that last little bit, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I'm
7-foot section in the front by the door.
Okay. Does anybody have any issues with this?
Not at all. It would look weird if we didn't give it to him.
Okay, then, does anybody look at the seeker?
So if you look at that diagram, I have it hashed out in red.
Yeah.
That's the portion that
Yeah.
requires the variance.
Does anybody have a question about the seeker?
No.
You assume we can see red.
I'm assuming you can see red, yeah.
And some of us who are colorblind.
Where's the hashed out? Double.
Cross-hatched.
That I can see. Is it really red?
It is.
It is red. I mean, it's not,
It's hard to tell.
I didn't color it in there.
The lines are
I'm looking for a motion on the seeker. I did check number 2 and put down permit and ZBA.
It's correct.
I will move that for part 2 of the short environmental assessment form, items 1 through 11 be checked no or small impact, and the chair check the second box at the bottom of page 4 and sign.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Not gonna, short and sweet.
Aye.
Aye.
Looking for a motion on the appeal, number 2117,
I'll make a motion.
to grant the
Yep, I make a motion to,
setback. Go ahead.
I make a motion to grant the Class B variance for appeal number 2117 for Brent Favreau at 69 Saley Avenue to replace the front porch with a roof which encroaches into the side yard setback.
I'll second.
Kate seconded. Yes vote is to approve.
I was trying to get my vote in before it didn't count.
Sorry.
Give it up.
You gotta beat these two at the other end there quick.
Not
Oh, good
needed.
Lord, I'm out of here.
Yeah, but
It's a
what if
long
I
night.
check no? I could check no, you know, I did come in here with a no attitude.
Okay.
Really
Yeah,
soft.
because if you check now, we had to go around and see why everybody voted the way they did. It's 5 yeses, tell him he's all set. Here's this, goes down to Denise.
Good minutes?
We do.
I'm gonna keep her tell.
I didn't look at it.
Minutes for last meeting?
Okay.
You're so good. You sure you were?
Now you see,
Is your daughter home or something?
that Methodist Church,
Oh my goodness. I got a lot of cards in here.
A took way too long.
Who's got the domain
Then at
license?
the end, she didn't
Oh,
get it. But you can see, that was a really good example of it took years to pass it, two of us didn't. That's good though. They're not all. I had issues that I know him really well, by the way. I built his, do you know him? I don't think so. He owns Global Sugar, he sells all bacon, decoration, you know, all that stuff, fancy cakes, all over the world. He's a really, really nice guy. He partners with Dr. Cohen that was here before.
We're sitting too
And he's right about a lot of
Shouldn't we
stuff.
have like
But you know
walking
what?
breaks? We could have blood clots.
I felt bound by what had happened before.
Yeah.
Then,
There's like
see,
cups that
and I know her
inflate.
really well.
We
Bonnie
get
Blanc.
those. Is that in the budget?
I almost built a shelf her, she's a very nice woman.
Scott would like a pointer.
DHS and all that kind of stuff.
Must
Really,
have one.
really
Laser
wonderful.
pointer?
Yeah.
Yeah, just check the battery.
But she started to really piss me off because she was
We
like,
got one.
but it's this tall.
That's
I'm going,
exactly
I don't
Yeah.
care.
I
I mean, if she had not,
I'm
if she
sure
had
I
not
would've
backed
put
down
them
on
in
it, I
the
would have
list.
said no, because it's
Yeah,
too
at least
tall.
75%.
But
Minutes?
it's okay to,
Yeah.
you know,
Ron?
we're not
Hey, Ron.
gonna always
Minutes?
agree.
No.
Ron, we want to
Minutes?
get going. We got minutes.
We're talking.
I realize that.
Minutes?
We're talking about Methodist Church.
And, well, more.
Okay, do we have
And-
any other business?
And Bonnie Black wasn't here, so I'll take her off the May 15th also. because
She was
at-
here.
May 15th.
May 15th.
Oh, yeah.
We're on the minutes.
Any other business? Okay.
I'll make a motion in regards to the May 15th meeting minutes with the correction about who was present, and Bonnie Black being lined out, to approve the minutes as written.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then seconding it. All
This is
right,
what I
well
was,
said.
this is what I was thinking of, but
Okay,
it's
fine.
pretty broad. And we're gonna
Thank you, though.
retool that.
Good night,
up.
Did you like it?
I did.
Yeah.
I gotta
That
get,
one-
I gotta get better at the wording of approving things.
Yeah, you're doing
Or
good.
making
But
motions.
that's, that was a,
But you don't
almost
learn
always-
unless you get-
Huh?
You don't learn unless you get to
You know, so we have.
What's that?
You don't learn unless you get to
oh yeah, and you'll find, you're gonna find that sometimes you go, oh,
Get that stuff out.
it's just not worth the fight, and sometimes it's really worth the fight, and sometimes one neighbor can change your mind.
So you- are you
Sometimes they
coming
don't
home?
change
No,
their
she
mind,
just
and they
said-
feel bad that they didn't change their mind, because they're so honest
Okay.
and almost right. But you know you can't, and, you know, if you wanna know the truth, you're right about the sign of sense,
Does that mean-
except
Know what happened here?
I would have liked a nice, brand-new single wood sign that size, with all, with nice lighting, but you know what? Those signs look like crap they're not that nice. They don't look that good, and in a lot of ways, this is really gonna look nicer. I mean, it really is. I understand the charm. What it should have been is a Casey Ryder gold gilded leaf sign with, you know, like you see
That
all
she
over the
would've-
city.
no.
That's what it should have been,
Yeah, been a long
but we
month for
couldn't
that.
make them do that. Okay, just a second, I'm gonna read that.
Oh, good night, everybody.
Night.
See ya.
Right.
Almost had to have a pee-pee break though.
See what
So that just floated back in my head, but it's pretty broad.
The stuff I move at my house is red.
I think what we did fits into that. I just was
It does, you know why? Because
It's related to the-
because we're talking about what the land access. Like, if we wanted to limit that, and they could turn around and all that stuff, that might have been more of an issue. If they could have gone onto that property and
Because
turned
you
around.
cannot slide it like
Try
that.
to, but because they may have to use, because they have to use the public road.
Right.
Which
and
way you
The
going?
land could not accommodate. So it
Okay,
does
I'll
fit.
go out front.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
usually go to
Here,
the
you can
north,
have
so
this.
I'll get this one.
Denise, there you go, take that too.
Yes, sir.
What's that one?
That's what we brought.
I've got
Thanks.
the, Joe. I've got the results.
All right, Joe.
Oh, this is Skyway?
Yeah, Joe, I'll
I
write you a letter
I think
about
that's
it.
what Aaron gave us.
Oh,
I started writing you a letter about it. I started writing a letter about it.
okay, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I let, I let Doug Butdorf know that I'd reached out to you and that you had some.
Yeah, okay. Hey, no, I'll do it tomorrow, probably.
Okay.
All right. Bye then.